It may look and feel like a movie set sandwiched between hard rock faces and beautiful countryside, but welcome to the very real hell for the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. Despite its demonic name, Hell in Norway is a well-loved classic on the WRX calendar. Carved into the face of a quarry, it has the biggest rise and fall of any track this season. It's considered a special place in the rallycross world, and a win here is hugely coveted. For the Norwegian drivers, home pride is at stake, and for their Swedish neighbours, a win carries extra bragging rights over their Scandinavian rivals. Last round in the UK marked the start of something special in WRX. The inaugural Speed Machine Festival at Britain's Silverstone circuit, with its live music in the evening and rallycross elite racing during the day, had the crowd in party mode from dawn to well past dusk. Semi 1 stopped as quickly as it started. The VWs of Petter Solberg and Johan Kristoffersson were on the front row, and as Solberg moved across to cover the first corner, there was contact. The champion Kristoffersson fired heavily into the tyre wall. The red flag came out and the PSRX mechanics performed a minor miracle against the ticking FIA clock, getting Solberg, who suffered the majority of the damage, back on the grid. After the restart, they all got away clean, but disaster for Solberg on lap 3, retiring with a mechanical issue. In the second semi, it was looking like the two factory Peugeots would make the final before Timmy Hansen retired on the last lap. 3 times in 4 races this year, Hansen has DNF'd in the knockout stages. Tough times for the rapid Swede, whose title ambitions are ebbing away. Come the final, a disastrous start from Sebastian Loeb saw him move back from the front row to 5th by the second corner. Kristoffersson was leading with both the EKS drivers behind him. Lap 3 and Loeb jokers in an attempt to find some clean air and salvage something from the race. A lap later, Ekstrom seemingly in a comfortable third jokers, and on the exit, to his surprise, Loeb, on the fastest lap of the day, forces a move up the inside and makes it stick going into turn 1. Last lap, and Kristoffersson is the only man left to take the last corner joker. Behind him, Baccarat is driving hard to decrease the gap. Come the joker merge, it was the reigning champion who held the lead, taking the first maximum score of 2018, and with it increasing his lead in the championship.
It was really up and down, and ended Saturday on P6, and then be able to win the qualifying and be top qualifier, score 16 points. And that was a big fight in semi-final, and we had some technical problems, and then the guys managed to get the cars back out, and yeah, to be able to win the semi-final and then win the final. It was really a team victory in the end.
Last year, a win here in Norway saw Kristoffersson start a 5-race winning streak. The win was all the more remarkable as he took it with a severely swollen ankle after he was accidentally knocked down in the pre-grid by Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah, it was a bit of a difficult weekend last year. I got my foot a bit injured, the right foot in pre-grid on Friday night. So it was very swollen and bruised up quite a lot, but yeah, I managed to drive with it. I didn't take off the right shoe from Friday night until Sunday night. So yeah, I was in a lot of pain, pain from hell. So it suits good with the name. But yeah, then the car was working perfect. I was able to win and score a lot of points, which was a bit of a turnaround for me in the championship last year.
With 1/3 of the season now completed, Kristoffersson is top of the table with a 14-point lead over Sebastian Loeb, who has made every podium so far in 2018. Take a close look at Baccarat in 3rd and Solberg in 4th. Just 3 points between these two coming into their home event. There is a lot at stake for them in Norway. 3 wins for PSRX Volkswagen Sweden sees them leading the team's championship. Audi have moved up to 2nd with both drivers scoring good points, and of course with the issues for Timmy Hansen at Silverstone costing Peugeot. It's a strange thing to say, but hell to the Norwegians is holy ground. A win here is national news, so no wonder the rivalry between Petter Solberg and Andreas Baccarat has exploded here in the past.
Really, I don't know how it works. I'm so disappointed in Norway, you know. And second time in Norway, pushed me off the road.
Sorry, Petter, thank you.
Despite being a double World RX champion, Solberg's best result here is second in 2014.
Norway is always special, you know, in your home country and a lot of friends and family and fans there. So, but it hasn't been the place I've been so much luck with, to be honest with you. You know, it was maybe 1 year that I had the second place, but after that it's been very disappointing.
In 2016, Bakkerud took World RX's only ever clean sweep and in the process deepened the feud with his national rival.
Well, I think at the end of the day, Petter is right now the king of motorsport in Norway. Like, his CV speaks for itself. 3 World Championship titles, 1 in rallying, 2 in rallycross. But you know, I can only fight for myself and do my best.
I just drive and try to drive as clean as possible and have a fair fight. That's the main thing, you know. I don't play any game.
For me, Petter is like every other competitor I have. We're not racing in the same team. We're driving for each our manufacturers, and yeah, it's a cool battle. I like it.
Just 3 points separate the home favourites as we arrive here in Norway. Bakkerud third overall and Solberg fourth in the driver standings. The season so far shows that the pendulum swung in Bakkerud's favour at Silverstone after Solberg retired in the semi-final. Head-to-head, they've raced 12 times. 67% of the time the result has gone in Solberg's favour, but that's a narrower margin than last year. It's 8-6 to Solberg on qualifying races this season, but neither has won a World Championship round in more than a year. Norway sees the arrival of former Formula 1 driver and 2-time Le Mans winner Alex Wurz, driving for the MJP racing team. This may be his first World RX event, but rallycross runs in the family, with his father Franz Wurz a 3-time European rallycross champion who always celebrated in style.
Actually, you don't want to know, but I was conceived on the rallycross track when he won the championship race in Sweden. Never mind, it's maybe too much information, even for my head to process. From the childhood on, always loved it in its highs and lows. This is where I grew up. That's where my love originates from. And now it's such a boom in the sport, but honestly, it's this explosive motion in rallycross. You can't wait for a split second, half a hole is enough to dive in, and this is so contrary to what I had for 20 years as a pro racer in Le Mans or in Formula 1. So yeah, it's the wild stuff which attracts me.
OK, it's the first of what are considered the classics in the World RX calendar. Before the competitive action gets underway, let's take a look at this amazing track in hell. The biggest roller coaster track of the year. The altitude change here is amazing. 1,010 metres long, 63% asphalt, 37% dirt. Clockwise track, of course, with a joker in the first corner. We ride on board with Solberg for a flying lap up towards turn 1. On the brakes, he backs the car into the joker lap, bit of handbrake, on the gas, as close to the curve as you can get and run it out to the wall. The standard lap comes in from the right here, so the joker lap exit has the inside line. Downhill, so steep here, the curves are so big, pulling gears round the right-hander. This is almost flat, then on the brakes. This year, the hairpin has been opened up a little bit, but lengthened too. On the gas again, pulling gears over towards the wall on the right-hand side. Get as close as you can, because you need to carry the speed into the left. Over the crest, braking one more time, pitch it into the hairpin, back on the throttle, again up to the finish line and over the big jump. House of fans under beautiful blue skies in hell awaited the start of the traditional Scandinavian battle. All smiles and good luck wishes before racing got underway. Solberg was first up in front of his home crowd and looking to bounce back from the disappointment of Silverstone. He set the time that would be the target for all others. But it wasn't all the others he needed to worry about. In the end, it was his teammate Johan Kristoffersen who went fastest in Q1, though only by 0.3 of a second from Sebastian Loeb. Q2 saw another Sweden-Norway battle unfold in the form of Timmy Hansen versus Andreas Bakkerud. The two were pushing very hard, with a particularly sideways moment for Hansen, and it cost them enough time that neither would feature at the top of the timesheets. Day one crunch time, the final race in Q2 really was crunch time for Timofey, who ended up squeezed into the wall. The Russian could only look on as a familiar fight came to its conclusion. The top three from Q1 finishing their race, and indeed the day, in the exact same positions.
It's always nice to be able to put the car in the exact angle you want to have it, to be able to make the quickest time, even when the track gets quite rough. And then you really need to have a car that makes exactly what you are asking for, and that's what I have now. And also to be able to have Petter in top three after day one is very, very good. Competition is really high, but in this team it feels like the more competition we get, the more the guys are working, so it's very, very nice.
Standings then at the end of day one, Johan Kristoffersen top of the table with a win in both Q1 and Q2 from Sebastian Loeb, Petter Solberg, Matthias Ekström, Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, Andreas Backrud and Niklas Gronholm the top 8. Kevin Eriksson, Robin Larsson, Anton Markland and Timofey Zyanov currently inside the all-important top 12.
So, Andreas, welcome. We're getting ready for qualifying 3. Wasn't the best day for you yesterday? I know you didn't feel 100% comfortable. What have you done overnight to change that?
Well, we have changed a lot. What we have done is too technical for me to explain, but we have done a lot of changes, and it felt good in this warm-up this morning, so hopefully that can help. We also put some new rubber on, so hopefully a good start in Q3.
And it's nice to see so many of your fans. Give us a sense of how important your fans are, because they help to actually support you, not just as a support group, but also financially. They help your career, and they're all here, so a word about them.
Yeah, I mean, they are the biggest reason that I'm here speaking with you, and I mean, like, the area I am from in Norway is called Bergen, on the west coast, and you know, they are very enthusiastic over their athletes. You can see in soccer and in boxing we have some great athletes, and me in motorsport. So I'm just a lucky driver coming from Bergen, Norway, and I have a great support. I'm very, very grateful for all of them supporting me all around the world.
And they're all here in their Backrud blue t-shirt, so good luck today. I hope it's good for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's wander down here and see if we can have a word with someone else. So that was a Norwegian. Let's speak to a Swede. Kevin, always good to watch you drive. Tell us exactly what is so special about this circuit.
It's a proper rallycross track. I mean, just the scenery is, you know, amazing up here. Norway is a very beautiful country, and they have a very beautiful track as well. And I think all of us drivers always, you know, look forward to come here. It has a bit of everything, like nice flowing corners, hairpins, and really, you know, fun Joker where you can really, you know, win a race as well. So I really like the track and the Norwegian fans and just everything about it.
Now, when we watch this, you don't really see quite how steep that Joker is. It looks like you can go in with so much speed because you're onto gravel, sideways and uphill, so that must feel really good.
Yeah, I would prefer to have that corner as a normal track, to be honest. Like it's a little bit like, you know, S-string first corner. You really need to push. The harder you get up there, the more sideways, the faster you are. So it's a fun track, fun corner. But generally the track is also, you know, it's very much elevation changes. So we have a lot of that, like you say, you know, that we can brake late because, you know, the uphill makes us brake. So it's a tricky corner in that way, that you need to like have, you know, in the calculation you need to know, oh, now I'm going down, now I'm going up, and that's what makes it fun.
And just quickly, obviously you're the best, you know, at the moment outside of the factory team. So can you make it through to the semis again, just quickly?
Yeah, I think so. We actually made some improvements in the warm-up. We do some more changes now, so I hope we will.
Okay, well, good luck. We'll see you out there on the track.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andrew Coley. I will be your commentator today. Joining me in the commentary box is Guy Wilkes, and reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid, as always, is Neil Cole. Here is how they stand as we head into Q3. Johan Kristoffersen has won both the qualifying sessions so far. Sebastian Loeb, Petter Solberg, Ekström, Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, Andreas Backrud and Niklas Gronholm the top 8. Eriksson, Larsson, Mark and Timofey Zyanov are currently in. Everyone else fighting for a place. On then to qualifying 3, and this first race was all about Timofey Zyanov. Of course, he ended yesterday's Q2 session in the wall. Not the same today in Q3. Out front, flat out, he set a very impressive benchmark time. Race 2, bit of contact on the way down to turn 1. Baumanis, like Timosyanov, really needed a clean run. He got a clout from Alex Wirtz behind, who continues to learn the trade of rallycross. He's doing a good job, though, slotted into P2 in this, while the Latvian took the win. Getting ready for race 3 of Q3. The cars are on the grid. Let's take a look at the lineup. Jerome Grosjean on the inside, 15th after Q2. They had a disaster in Q1. What can they do here to drag themselves back up into the semis? Rustad, 13th, wants to be in the semis at home. Markland is currently in 11th. Shisharit in 17th, has a slightly bigger mountain to climb than his teammate. And Johnny-Pekka Rajla on the outside, 14th after Q2, with very little time in that car.
Yeah, a lot of new tyres in this. This is always make or break, isn't it? Race 3. Qualifying 3 and qualifying 4. These are the guys that are fighting for the semis. This is going to be a cracker.
Watch for the 2 GCK cars. They need a good start. They didn't get it yesterday, but today they both get away nicely. Tyre smoke from the back, but there's a squeeze for Shisharit. Shisharit's in between Rajla and Markland on the outside. Markland goes Joker. Shisharit goes with him. Oh, into the back of Rustad on the inside. Rajla just picked him up on the exit.
Yeah, that was very... Oh, naughty.
Oh.
That's Shisharit, I'm sure. He's got it fired up again.
Okay,
sure
yesterday Shisharit ended up in the gravel there and sat there for a minute, and these guys were down, but that's not what Guerlain needed, but it is what Jerome Grosjean needs.
Yeah, exactly. They had a difficult day yesterday. They were P15 and P17 overnight, but Grosjean needs to get his head down and get away from these guys. Rustad, obviously a local, he knows this track, quite literally backwards as I say that.
Is there any point in him trying to make that pass there? You know, sometimes I think
smoking like crazy.
That's a contact with Rajla behind.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think people they almost waste. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah,
don't wait. Just go through.
Well, he's fighting Markland. Markland's already joking, but just shows how much time he's hemorrhaged.
Does indeed.
Behind those cars.
Grosjean and Rajla are the drivers who haven't jokered yet. Markland, Rustad and Shisharit, you can see with the ticks next to their names. And up the hill, very, very steep up that hill, it really is. Over the crest into the left-hander. Grosjean's backing it in, you know, like a slight Scandinavian flick to unsettle the car at the top. Do you think it's necessary or not? Is it because there's a lot of loose gravel there, or could you do that with a bit of brake pass and a bit of left foot just the once?
Depends on your confidence of the car underneath you and how confident as a driver you are, as it takes to the Joker now. We can see there he's in a little bit too narrow on the entry and just cost himself time.
Yeah, Markland gets him.
Done him, and that's exactly what he didn't need.
So Markland's got him. Anton then is the driver who's chasing down that top time.
Anton actually looks in the right places, and he's done a 39, okay, 39 dead at the moment. He needs to try and dip into the 38s if he's really going to trouble the top 10 guys.
I don't think he'll catch up with Rajla before they make it through. And as we say that, look, Shisharit, that's the promise of Shisharit. And I saw him this morning. He was disappointed. He was munching a croissant as he was heading out onto his track walk.
No Frenchism in that.
Yeah, I said, you know, and he just like, yeah, just disappointed, you know. And he said the car's good. He said, I know I can do a good lap time. He said, I did a good lap time yesterday. As you see Rajla go through, he's going to come out behind Rustad, who he gave that tag to in the first corner. But that, you know, it's got to come together.
Yes, everything has to come together, and obviously Shisharit's just been dropped too much off the back of this. Unfortunately, that fastest lap's not going to count for a great deal, apart from it says that the car's good. It's got the potential. It could be up there.
Could indeed. Markland chasing down that top time of Timosyanov, 2:42.8. Let's see, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I think it'll be close, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough. So Tim is going to remain at the top of the timesheets, 2:43.7. In fact, we'll slot him in just ahead of Baumanis. So he beats Baumanis' time, but he can't match Timosyanov. So Timosyanov is still top of the table and still having a good recovery from yesterday's problems. Here's the result. Markland with the win from Jerome Grosjean, Rustad, Rajla and Shisharit, who's rapid, but as I say, unfortunately, just hasn't quite come together. So great start to the season for the GCK guys, and just a little reset needed, I guess, to get things back together now. Q3 race 4 is about to start. Have a look at this grid. On the inside, Kevin Hansen, Niklas Gronholm next to him, Andreas Backerud, Kevin Eriksson and Robin Larsson. They're all inside the top 12. Look, Larsson in 10th and Kevin Eriksson in 9th, not actually taking new tyres, whereas Kevin Hansen and Andreas Backerud are. Marshals will disappear shortly. Backerud has a look out the side window, gives a thumbs up, that's it. Clunks the car into gear, eyes down. Guy Wilkes has spotted something on the start there, which we'll talk you through in just a moment. Good start backwards, hooked it up really nicely. Larson, though, on the outside has as well. Kevin Hansen looking up the inside. Backwards going to go Joker. Larson trying to go around the outside. Contact between the two. Larson's going to go deep. That's going to cost them both time. Backward lights up. Larson won't like that. And backwards going to have him. Yeah, it's going to have him on the back bumper. Oh, he's giving it back.
Over, yes.
He's giving it back. I say, he will not let. He's done it again. He doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't like it, but it's what Andreas Backerud needs. He needs to climb up the leaderboard. He needs a really strong race time. Is what he didn't need was to hemorrhage time. Stood out there in the loose gravel, fighting for traction.
And I know what you spotted at the start, but tell everyone at home.
Yeah, obviously you saw Andreas Backerud. He clicked first gear, then he grabbed second. It's a downhill start here. Obviously, you lose time, a minuscule piece of time when you change gear. He grabbed second, so he could launch down, miss a gear change, and get third for his next gear change.
And he got a nice start. He did get a nice start. Larson got a good start alongside him. I think it was fair into the Joker Lab. It's side by side, door to door. It's gravel as well, so you know the cars move a bit. You don't get so much damage as you do. Yeah, exactly. But Larson doesn't like it, and now Backerud's got to put up with him being behind him for the rest of the race. So there's your gap, top left corner, 4 seconds back for Backerud. We'll try and figure out exactly what the Joker's going to be today with the loose gravel on the circuit. It changes a bit each day, and that's one of the beauties, I think, of rallycross. You think you've learned the circuit, you go back out and it's totally different.
Yeah, because they reset it overnight. They have to repair it.
And it develops through the day too, doesn't it? You know, like every single session, the track is a little bit different.
I tell you what is worth mentioning today is that it's not as dusty, and that is a benefit to the drivers.
Yeah, because you can joker early. Yesterday we were hearing people discuss, look, I'm not going to joker till later in the race. Solberg and Loeb were both saying it. Backerud, fastest lap of the day, 38.666. That's very appropriate for hell, isn't it?
Yes.
So Backerud's on a big push, chasing down Ericsson in front, super sideways down the hairpin. Look at the amount of steering inputs. He's really going for it.
Yeah, he's fighting the car hard, but he's getting more comfortable. He's very frustrated with his day yesterday. Didn't quite pan out. He followed Timmy Hansen in Q2 for a lot longer than he wanted to, but that is the nature of the sport. You have to find a way past with strategy or on the track.
Here we go, talking of strategy. Kevin Hansen into the Joker. Kevin Ericsson's going to go too. The gap was 3.8. Could be close. I think Kevin Hansen's going to get it, though, on the inside. And that, to me, is the contact in turn one that Backerud lost a little bit of time.
Absolutely, without doubt, but he's going to fight all the way to the line.
38.4, so he's going quicker and quicker. Look at that, you've got the telemetry mounted down on the floor, get the weight just as low as you can. Has another sneaky look up the inside, bit sideways on the exit, pulling gears. Kevin Hansen is going to take this one unless there's a mistake in the last couple of corners, but it's Backerud who's showing that he's back on the pace, so maybe they found something in the car overnight. Time at the bottom of the screen, 2:42.8 is Tim Azyanov. Is that going to finally fall? Kevin Hansen crosses the line, he's done it by a second. Kevin Hansen goes to the top, 1.1 seconds faster than Tim Azyanov, and we've got just 5 cars left to go in Q3.
The top 3 actually have jumped to the top of the pile there. Niklas Grunov, it's like a train. There was only 0.82 of a second from first to third, covering those 3 there.
And you can see that Kevin Ericsson and Robin Larson down in P4 and P5. There's where they slot in, and as Guy Wilkes said, they go to the top of the table. So good results for Tim Azyanov, Markin and Baumanis so far, but I'd say we've got the fastest 5 guys still to come. Kevin Hansen took a race yesterday. He's taken another one today. He's down with Neil Cole now.
Kevin, just then as you came up to the stop line, you were punching the air. You clearly enjoyed that big push.
Yeah. Oh, such a nice run. I really enjoyed that one, and I was pushing so hard, and to manage to take Backerud is really nice. So I know I had a good position for a good run, and I think I gave it my everything, so let's see how far it can go.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin is all smiles as we take another look back at that start, Guy, and it was all about Backerud and Larson on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Larson got a great start as well, but we're just going to follow with the guys going standard lap. And Kevin Hansen just out of that squeeze. Niklas Grunholm pushed Ericsson he was muscled him out of the way. Here we go, Backerud on the inside, grabbing a lot of handbrake. The reason he's grabbing a lot of handbrake is because the back of his car is hard against Larson's and the car won't rotate, so it's pushing the car into understeer. Watch here, he has to grab the handbrake, try and turn it, that's why he was pulling it.
As well, almost in the gravel bank on the outside, but does well to hold
Larson
on.
was flat, Backerud was fighting it, wasn't he?
Kevin into the Joker lap out front. We knew at this time, obviously, that Backerud was flying because he's done 2 fastest laps in a row, but thanks to being a little bit wide and a little bit off in turn 1, which he's lost out. How much time he lost on the way down on this last lap, I'm not sure, but it was him who took it, and at the minute, he leads Q3. Final race of Q3 is on the line and ready to go. Let's take a look at the lineup. This is a strong one. on the inside, the world champion Johan Kristoffersen. He's won both sessions so far. Matthias Ekström was second in Q2 to move up to P4. He'd like to move up even further. Sebastian Loeb was on it in Q1, couldn't quite match Kristoffersen in Q2. Then we've got Solberg and Timmy Hansen. Timmy, of course, has won a session at every weekend so far. He's yet to win one here, and Solberg would love a home win. Ekström's gone for diagonally opposed new tyres on the Audi, but we are interested in what happens over the next couple of minutes. Second gear start again, that was Ekström, I think, on board. Petter, sorry, on board. So Solberg has gone for a second gear start, which we saw backward to a moment ago. Really even across the entire thing. Solberg with that start closes the door on Loeb. Oh, Ekström hard in the side of Solberg. Solberg will not like that at all. Solberg is going to have to give second place to Ekström. What do you think about that guy?
No comment until I see the replay. It was absolutely phenomenal. I watched it out of the window, and then I came back to the screen and saw that obviously he was sideways into the corner, took a tap from Matthias Ekström, and obviously Matthias got ahead of him. He will not like it, and they've tangled plenty of times this year so far.
They have, and I wonder if the stewards will get involved again, but you were on board there up the hill. Kristoffersen takes the deep line in. Hansen, look, with a smoother steering input, but Kristoffersen's got the straight exit. So Timmy Hansen chasing down Kristoffersen. We know everyone's worked on their setups overnight. Timmy decides to follow through, and Sebastian Loeb's going in as well. So Solberg and Ekström, I wonder, will there be any kind of an investigation into that? I mean, you know, I say, I don't think Petter will be happy either way. Kristoffersen is on a big push, but the Peugeots are going with him. And yesterday, Loeb didn't look like he could do that in Q2.
No, I just wondered whether he could struggle to drop a look at Matthias and Petter fighting. Petter's he's maybe doing a little bit too much. He's too eager to get past. Obviously, he did not like that, what Matthias did or didn't do to him in the fight that was in that corner.
On the handbrake on the way into the left-hander over the crest. It's that the floaty car control of Petter Solberg is epic, isn't it? Smoke tyres from the back. We see that here quite often because of the long corners. And the lead three cars have all decided they're not going to choke. A fastest lap of the day, Johan Kristoffersen. Timmy Hansen can't be far off him, is he?
No, he's on a 38.4, so he's only 2.5 tenths behind him. But at the same time, Johan is just eking out enough at the moment.
It's close though, isn't it?
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily have to. As long as they're driving quickly, he's just racing the clock, remember? And he does not have to do anything that makes a mistake from himself or forces him into making a mistake.
I love this between these two. You know, Solberg is like,
let's follow this a little bit.
I want to come past you.
This is where it's at for pace as well.
Ekström and Solberg still fighting out in the background. On to the joke lap on the last lap. Timmy Hansen, fastest lap of the day, 38.0. Loeb. Okay, Loeb. Okay, one more lap to go. Sorry. Okay, yes. So, and we're looking at a big slot in between Ekström and Kristoffersen. Oh, contact between Hansen up the inside as well. So Hansen up the inside of Solberg. Solberg's over the curves on the inside. He gets in the side of Hansen, gives him a big push. Timmy holds on somehow down into the hairpin. So I was right. Loeb has forgotten to joker. I was right. Loeb has forgotten to joker. I thought so.
That's
so Sebastian Loeb, the ultimate rallycross sin, is going to cross the line in first, but he's going to get a 30-second penalty. Ignore him. The race is about Kristoffersen over the line now. Kristoffersen comes up to take the win from Ekström, Hansen and Solberg. The pace between the factory cars is so close. It's a 2:40.0 for Johan Kristoffersen, and we're waiting to see whether or not that's going to take him to the top of the timesheet, because we're currently looking at the wrong screen up here, waiting for it to scroll through. Come on, Kristoffersen.
Less than a second over the top three.
It's enough. 2:40. In fact, all of the top four move ahead of Kevin Hansen. So Kristoffersen 2:40.0 from Ekström, Hansen, Solberg. Sebastian Loeb is given a 30-second penalty for not joking. You can't blame it all on him. It could be spotter, it could be communications, but there's where they slot in. Look, the top four going ahead. That's a great time by Kevin Hansen, and some of the others up there in the top 8 looking really good as well. But let's go and catch up with the winner of Q3, Kristoffersen.
Johan is just asking for a block to go under the tyres to save the brakes. Were you aware that Sebastian hadn't jokered then and you won the race?
Let's say I was not hoping for it, but I would be very surprised if he had the time to go through the joker and come out with such a lead, because my car felt really good. I had a gap down to Matthias all the time, so I saw that I heard from the spot that I was gaining a little bit of time. It was 3 and then 3.5. And I saw Matthias had 2 new tires and I saved mine, so that's a good feeling.
Well done, Johan. That means you've won all 3 sessions so far. Good job.
That's a good start.
Oh, there we go. Kristoffersen saying that he has saved his tyres and that's why he's happy.
Let's watch this though, because Solberg and Ekström. Whoa, look at the angle.
down the gears, lights it up, look, bit of handbrake, still in third, and now he'd be like, right, I'm not happy. He chased him for the whole race, didn't he? And it cost him, of course, as well, because they ended up, when we see the merge, look at this, full opposite lock. He was on the lock
Fair
stop guy.
play, Petter Solberg. That was a great catch. He didn't know that was coming.
No, that's what I mean.
Pure
The
reaction and instinct.
Oh, great, brilliant car control. But say, I'd actually like to have heard from Petter there, because I don't think he'd have been very happy. There was Loeb, who's forgotten to Joker, and it might have dawned on him at this point. Say, I wasn't sure. Ekstrom then starts it in. Hansen's up the inside of Solberg. Solberg here then gets in the side of Timmy. And to be fair, Timmy does pretty well to hold on there, but you ride with Solberg with Ekstrom just in front. This was the merge look, so he's in the back, and then, oh, hang on a minute, Timmy's up the inside, three-wheeling from Ekstrom. This is absolutely classic rallycross merging here at Norway. Hell, fantastic. Kristoffersen has won all three qualifying sessions so far here in Hell. Matthias Ekstrom goes second place, but interestingly, Kristoffersen said, I've saved my tyres. He thinks he's pretty happy about that. I can't see anyone taking TQ away from him, even in Q4. It'd have to be an absolute disaster for him to drop down from there. Ekstrom is P2. He's moved up from 4th, so that sticks him on pole in semi-2 at the minute. But remember, one session to go. Solberg, Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, brilliant performance. Backward, Nicolas Gronholm, Sebastian Loeb drops a long way down thanks to missing his Joker in Q3. Kevin Eriksson, Robin Larsen, Anton Markman, and Timothy Timosyanov is still in 12th place. All those people below fighting. They've got one more session to go to try an Eka place in the top 12. Well, we've got some lovely slow motion pictures for you to have a look at from Hell in Norway. This is Johan Kristoffersen, the world champion, running the #1 through that last long right-hander guy, and it's pretty crucial for a good lap time.
It is indeed, and he just clips the apex, which is a very late apex in this corner. It is a hairpin right back up the hill. Doesn't quite show the steepness of the gradient, but fantastic line from Johan Kristoffersen.
Yeah, what we would expect from the champion, isn't it, really? And you really don't get an idea of the gradient. It's just so steep. Maybe this gives a... It does. This is Alex Wirtz. So Wirtz learning the trade here. Tarmac is his thing guy.
Yeah, he just saw a little nip of the handbrake there. He's drifting wide here. You know, he struggles to make the apex. That's just the difference in the discipline of driving, that he's just trying to get through and into his head. Hemorrhaging time there, just sliding wide. As you can see, the car's in oversteer, misses the apex by quite a long way in the end.
Saying that he just overcorrects the car too much. He needs to get used to rotating it more, making it rotate around itself, which of course is the total opposite of what we see the circuit drivers doing. Gronholm with a really good example of moving the car around, setting it up on the gravel there to get it at the angle he wants it. And again, look at that, really unloading the car heavily. Left foot braking.
Yeah, but if you see there, he's banged the brake really hard in a straight line, just dragging a little bit of left foot brake there. They try to control the car with left foot brake as you would in a rally stage on gravel. If they can't get the car to rotate, they'll have a quick jab on the handbrake to get the back end to come around so they can get on the gas and get out of the corner.
Sebastian Loeb in the Peugeot. This car guy, you were saying, has been looking really, really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a go on it myself, but I'm sure a lot of people at home would as well. It's so well balanced this year, and you can see Sebastian there. It looks like him driving it, you know, a little bit of understeer in some parts of the corner, but when he's coming out of the corners, hard on the gas, and generally the car is very neutral and straight, and that's how he likes it.
Nicely done by Sebastian Loeb. Of course, it's been very nice from him and Timmy Hansen this year. So let's take a look at the team profile for Team Peugeot Total. Hansen just 26 years old compared to Loeb at 44. Difference in World RX careers, 53 events for Timmy Hansen as we arrive here in Norway. Of course, he's done every single World Championship event, whereas Sebastian Loeb joined a little bit later, and that is reflected in the statistics. Certainly for me, this year, Sebastian Loeb is putting in his best performance with 2 career wins so far. Of course, one this year and one 2 years ago. 96% of the time, Timmy makes it through to the semis, and 90% for Sebastian Loeb. So look at that as well. Great stats for qualifying all the way through to the final. A brilliant team. Could they be on for the championship this year? The car certainly looks good enough. Well, here is how they stand as we head into Q4, the final qualifying session in Norway. Johan Kristoffersen tops the table with 3 wins, but big news for Mattias Ekström, who drops down into 6th place thanks to a 5-second penalty for hitting Solberg in Q3, and worse for Loeb, misses his joker and drops all the way down to 8th. The battle, though, as always, is for the top 12. So Markland, Timosjanov, Baumanis and Rustad all around the all-important cut-off point. Well, the first race, of course, was all about redemption for Sebastian Loeb. With that big mistake in Q3, he got the whole shot checked out front and held on to take the checkered flag with a great target time. Race 2 on the line. Here's the lineup. Johnny-Pekka Rajala on the inside. Gulan Schischerit, Alex Wirtz, Kjetil Larsen and Oliver Bennett. Rajala with an outside chance of making it and has put 2 new boots on the car as a result. Schischerit has had a frustrating weekend. Let's see how Alex Wirtz gets on. Lovely to hear from him in the pre-grid just a few moments ago with Neil. He's absolutely loving it. Yeah, well, he's obviously really come... Yeah, he said, a night's sleep, I've had to think about it, it's gone in. It's not easy, as we've discussed in every session so far, but it was good to see him come out of the merge in P2. You know, I really like that. Well, let's watch him away from the line, and then we'll discuss a little bit more, and maybe follow him. We'll get to see if he's in the mix or not. Schischerit looking to prove what this car can do, and he's jumped the start. He hasn't. It's a brilliant start. 0.1 of a second, though, reaction time for Schischerit. That would have been a jump start. I think he got lucky there, Guy. The lights changed. No one can react in 0.1. It's humanly impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it looked for everything. All eyes that was a jump start, but it's not. Anyway, he is head down. He's very frustrated this weekend. I've had a little chat with him. You know, we've got a couple of gremlins going on with the car. He's been struggling. Yes, big battle going on behind. He's got a couple of gremlins with the car. He can't go down the box, and that's why we've seen him stall even off camera a couple of times in the Joker. But let's get back to racing.
So Wirtz in P2. Behind him is Rajala and Bennett. He'll be hoping to press on a bit here with these 2 guys behind him. Rajala, I think, has got significantly more rallycross experience, but hasn't spent much time in this car either. So he's been driving the old Eklund Saabs and things, and it's a completely different beast to a bang-up-to-date, modern-starred rallycross car.
It is. That's an outrageous opening lap, but probably helped by that start. But Gulan Schischerit just on a 41.7. Sebastian Loeb didn't even get into the 41s. His was a 42.
Rajala and Bennett have gone joker. Larsen went on lap 1, so they've slotted in behind Larsen. So Larsen's actually doing okay here, and these 3 now hoping to chase down Wirtz. So Wirtz could be left out here just to enjoy the race, and the team might do that so he can just get some seat time, or they could respond to that joker and stick him back in front of those guys, which would be frustrating for them. But Schischerit's on a flyer.
Big pressure when you have done a lot of rallycross going to a joker lap, which you only do once every race, although he's done it a couple of times. He's not going to joker, yeah. But it's a big pressure because you only do it once in every 4 laps. So obviously he's only done it a couple of times. He's done a couple of jump starts as well.
And it's on gravel as well, and as we've said, the gravel develops a lot more obviously than the tarmac does, so it's a really big ask, and that's one of the things Kristoffersen has said. In fact, even he struggles more with the joker than someone like Solberg.
And absolutely, Wirtz even said himself that he's not comfortable with the car on gravel. It's gravel, the joker, and it's a really high speed approach. Yeah. You have to get the car sideways. So yes, he's probably going to follow Schischerit and joker with him and hope that it comes out in 2nd place. Larsen's
going really sideways here with Rajala in behind. Schischerit goes into the joker lap. A little bit of handbrake on the way in. In goes Wirtz behind, so watch Wirtz for the merge on the X here. I think Wirtz might have done enough, you know, it might be relatively close. No, he's done enough, definitely. Well done, Alex Wirtz, great stuff. So Rajala has a look up the inside of Larsen behind, but can't make that stick. And now it's all eyes on Schischerit at the front to see what the time will be at the end. Rajala up the inside of Larsen. Larsen's on the lock, stops the other way. Don't drive over those curbs, they're massive. Both cars somehow stay together and stay on track. Schischerit, though, coming round to the last corner, 2:42.0. This is his chance to prove that he had the pace this weekend. Lights the tyres up, and he crosses the line with a 2:42.8. Very nicely done indeed. 8/10 of a second off the 9-time World Rally Champion Sebastian Loeb in similar track conditions. Tick the box. I can do it. It's a shame, isn't it? Like
it is. It's a brand new team. He's invested a lot of his own time and money to get this off the ground with GCK.
Schischerit takes it, Alex Wirtz 2nd, Larsen, Rajala and Oliver Bennett. So Schischerit doing a nice job there. He's down with Neil Cole, and I'm sure he'll be really, really pleased to have finally shown what he can do this weekend in Norway. Well, Ekström with a last-minute problem as he pulls up to the line. Will he get away from it or not? Jerome Grosjean in on the inside from Robin Larsen, Tommy Rustad. Ekström with Problems in the pre-grid after that 5-second penalty in the previous session. And Rennie Munich, new boots for Rustad and Larsen as they look to secure places in the semi-finals. But this is all about Mattias Ekström. He was second, he's down to 6th after the penalty. Is he even going to get that car off the line? And does it have a bad problem or not? We're about to find out because the marshal's going to leave the grid. Thumbs up. Ekström's marshal was late to move, which suggests Ekström isn't even looking at him. He was looking down at the dash as he pulled onto the line. Look for the lights to go green. Watch Ekström in particular. No, Ekström's not even got it. He's going to get away very slowly. I think he tried, but he couldn't. Down into turn 1. Larsen is ahead of Rustad. Larsen pitches it in sideways. Look at the rotation on that, but Rustad gets him up the inside, right over the curbs. Larsen's going to try and come back alongside, in behind Munich. Has Ekström got away from the line or not?
In the back in the Rustad there, Ekström just went over the trigger.
He's still there.
To activate it because he does not want.
Yeah, he wants to start, but not yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You get
DNF,
better points.
He'll get 20 points, obviously being last place. At DNS, he'll get 0 points. That would really hamper him.
Really switched on by the team to get him round there, and Mattias, of course, they're absolute pros, but that's going to drop him right down the order. Will he make the semis?
They knew exactly what they had to do, but back to the racing. Obviously,
Rustad and
we have
Larsen,
Larsen, all over the back of Rustad, but Grosjean out in front. Let's see what his lap times are like.
So guys, have a look at the timing screen. I'm going to look at Larsen versus Rustad. Larsen was so sideways on the way in that he lost out a little bit on the exit. But Rustad, remember, made it through to the semi-finals at Silverstone. Mattias Ekström is still sitting in the car. He's going to pull off the net. He opens the door, so he knows it's race over. But as Guy said, it would be a DNF, not a DNS. There's a qualifying point system in Rallycross, which means you are penalised more if you don't make the start than if you don't make the finish. Grosjean hoping to match the lap times of his teammate Schischerin.
That car looks so good in the transition there, so nice and balanced. Yes, these boys are having a tooth and nail fight here. Rustad, they need a fast time, remember, so it's all about the merge when Grosjean comes off the joker.
Look at the way that Larsen moves the car around, Guy. He really chucks it around. He's always rotating on the way into the corner, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed. And if you look from the outside, you wouldn't mistake that he's trying all the time.
No, it's great, isn't it? The crowd absolutely love him. Grosjean do you think that the Pro Drive car looks good?
Yeah, it's good. He made a little mistake in the last corner, but in the transition here, look at the balance there. It looks so underneath him. In the lateral grip it picks up, and he gets it to the apex that time. Look how neutral and straight that car's going forwards.
And Larsen again almost on the inside of Rustad. Every time with the rotation he has a look, but this is what it's all about. Grosjean, it's gone deep. He's gone deep in the joker. He turns the car in. It's going to cost him time. I think he's going to lose out because of it. So a mistake in the joker lap from Grosjean means that 2 cars get past.
Massive mistake. He got too wide and he caught the back end on the bank on the outside, which is really hard to pick up on the television camera, and he couldn't rotate the car into the corner.
Through the bottom corner, Rustad now leads from Larsen, chasing that 2:42.0 Sebastian Loeb. Up to the top of the hill, left over the crest. Look and see how bad that bump is. Not as bad as yesterday for me. Grosjean looks like he's really struggling with the car, so maybe there was something else. He couldn't get it turned in over the left. All the tyres smoking on both the lead cars. Rustad over the line. He's just 0.4 off the time of Loeb, and in the background, Rennie Munich with a bit of extra gravel section as he comes too tight over the jump and crosses the track on the inside. But that is the story. Ekström is looking down at the dashboard. Still, is he communicating with the team? Either way, it is a disaster. It's a DNF for Mattias Ekström. Rustad takes it from Larsen after a mistake from Grosjean, and Grosjean lost a lot of time on that last lap, so was there another problem? Rustad behind Loeb. Loeb, who raced in the first race, having missed his joker last time out, is still leading the standings. Neil is with Rustad.
Tommy, that was an incredible battle with Robin, and you came out on top.
Yeah, it was. Now it was win or lose. It was nothing to. I had nothing to lose. I need to be in front of Grosjean to have any chance to get into the semi-final, and I need some luck because some of the top 12 cars need to stop. I have some technical problems, so it was everything or nothing. So it's worked well.
Well, obviously Mattias did stop on the start, so that could be one less car ahead of you.
Yeah, I'd heard he had problem, but I just was going my own way, so I didn't see if he was getting out from the start or not.
Good luck, well done.
Thank you very much.
Here's another look at Ekström being left on the start. Look, he just tried to get the car away, so I suspect, as Guy said, it's in a real high gear. He's got it flat, trying to drag the clutch and just get it. He got it over the start, job done.
That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to knock that trigger post down that gets the reaction time in the jump start sensor.
This was Larson versus Rustad. These two had an absolutely brilliant bout through the whole race. They look like they're side by side so many times because of the nature of these brilliant four-wheel drive cars. Look at the tyre smoke coming off them. I loved it through the last corner. They were both like, come on, come on, come on, trying to get to the line.
Here we see Grosjean in, you know it was his own fault that he just got too wide, didn't get the car into the apex and lost a lot of time.
Unlucky for him, good time by Rustad, but disaster for Ekstrom. Okay, race 4 is on the line, but Timur Timizyanov is missing from the lineup. So let's take a look at the grid. On the inside, Niklas Gronholm. Next in was supposed to be his teammate Timizyanov, who we've just seen climb out of the car at the last minute. Anton Markland, Yannis Baumanis and Kevin Eriksson. Look at Yannis in 13th, Anton in 11th. Those guys helped out definitely by the retirement of Timur Timizyanov, who was in 12th and is now not going to make it through to the semi-finals. What a shame. This is handy for Anton Markland because he's got that extra space on the inside, but I suspect that Niklas Gronholm will probably try and nick some of that space as well, Guy, when they come off the line. If they, you know, they should both make use of it, shouldn't they?
Absolutely. You'll have Niklas Gronholm and Anton Markland trying to close that down and gain that advantage because of it.
Markland and Baumanis, remember, have got form from turn 1 earlier on this weekend. Baumanis got a better start than Markland, but they're still going to reject them off the line as they can pass the common position. Baumanis turns in across. Baumanis goes standard lap. Sorry, Joker lap, and everybody else goes standard lap. It's Gronholm who gets out in front, side by side for Eriksson and Markland. Bit of contact between them, finally they're in the line. So I think that worked out actually pretty well for Baumanis because these three had a little squabble between turn 1 and 2.
It did indeed, and don't forget about Tommy Rustad, who just won that the last race, because he and Yannis Baumanis are fighting now because of Timur Timizyanov dropping out. They're in P13 and 14, so this is all about race time. Oh, Anton Markland getting very wide over the crest there, dropping a bit of ground.
Really crossed up.
Eriksson, sorry.
We've just heard through commentary, from information from Racing Talk, it was a drive shaft for Timizyanov. So Timizyanov did a drive shaft on his way up to...
I wonder if he did it in the tyre clean. It's the only place I can think of.
Yeah, because he would have rolled it back from there, and of course we had a big queue of cars waiting. Good shout, Guy Works. So he's obviously done his tyre clean and broken a shaft and had to drop back out. So unlucky for him. Markland continues to chase these guys down with Baumanis in front of him. Those two guys having both jokered. We haven't spoken much today about the Joker lap time, Guy, and that's because it's been changing during the course of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, and also that a lot of people have been going in challenging for position as well. It's not just been one car going in there, so we've had a big mix-up in the Joker times. But Yannis Baumanis has clear air, and he's setting pretty good sector times at the moment, so let's see what his lap time is. 38.8 as he comes over the line, but the fastest is Niklas Gronholm, 38.4.
How does it feel when you know, look at this, on board with Baumanis now, he knows he's in P13, he's just pulled up on the grid, and he knows that alongside him, one car away, was supposed to be the guy who's in P12. He knows Tim has gone, he must be thinking, yes!
No, it makes it nervous, because you know you don't have to make a mistake, both yourself, you know, climbing over a curve, getting a puncture. It's perfect now for him. He's got clear air. It's all about him. He is in control. He's got nobody knocking him from behind, nobody to the side of him. He's dropped Markland just enough. It's all in his control. He's got to race time, remember, because Rustad's there challenging him. He's not in this race, Tommy Rustad, but he's challenging for a semi-final position.
Into the Joker goes Gronholm, followed by Eriksson. I think they're going to edge Baumanis. At least one of them is. Baumanis is going to have a look and shut the door, and Eriksson, very tidily done indeed.
Great bottle by Yannis Baumanis to keep sticking with that. He went all the way around the outside.
Good car control too on the gravel. That braking zone down the hill, Guy. You know, you've got gravity and gravel against you stopping.
To do that.
Yeah,
really did.
Excellent stuff. Baumanis has done a great job here. He's not going to beat Gronholm. Gronholm going to beat Loeb, who's still at the top of the timesheets from 4 races ago up towards the line. I think he might actually over the line. Gronholm has gone quickest so far in Q4. He's 0.7 near as damn it of a second faster than Sebastian Loeb, and Baumanis goes through in P2. So,
and more importantly, faster than Tommy Rustad.
So Baumanis is ahead of Rustad. Rustad was behind him in the standings. It's all going off here in Q4. Gronholm takes it from Yannis Baumanis, Kevin Eriksson, Anton Markland and Timur Timizyanov with a DNS. This is the standings of Q4. It's not going to be long before you're going to see the standings after Q4. Can't wait to see where everyone is going to be.
Niklas, talk us through that. That was the quickest so far. Great.
Yeah, I didn't feel so comfortable in the car. I don't know why, but okay, time seems to be the best one for me this weekend. So happy with that. But the fast guys are coming. Let's see what they will do. But anyway, we're in the semis, and that's the first target.
Well done, thank you.
So 2 Norwegians in the final race of qualifying here from round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship in Norway. Johan Kristoffersen is on the inside. He's won every session so far. Could he get the clean sweep of the sessions? Could he get the second clean sweep ever? Next to him, Timmy Hansen. Then it's Petter Solberg, Kevin Hansen, Andreas Backerud. Look, they were the top 5 in the last session, and they're actually the top 5 in qualifying so far as well. So who's in the lowest position? Backerud down in 5th. So a place on the front row in the semi-finals is what's up for grabs here. You need to be top 4. That gives you the best chance of choosing. Timmy Hansen gives the nod to the marshal. It was quite an aggressive nod because he's ready to go. The last tighten of the belts. Here we go. Great start. Oh, backwards. Solberg's gone backwards. Kristoffersen up the inside. He gets the door shut by Backerud. Backerud, though, goes straight to the joker lap. Solberg's going to try and go around the outside. Kevin Hansen's gone too. Kevin Hansen looking for traction up the inside. Can't find it. And that's released Kristoffersen and Timmy Hansen to the standard lap.
Right, we have a proper race on here then. Andreas Backerud versus Johan Kristoffersen. They've got clear air. It's between these two if they're going to win.
Be really interested to see if Backerud's got the pace in the Audi. We know the Peugeots, yes, they're saying Q2 weren't there, but then in Q3 they were all over the back of the VW, and I guess if the others are bottled up behind Backerud, we'll know the Audi hasn't got the pace here this weekend.
And also he was compromised going into the joker because he had 2 cars following, so he had to defend and he had to take a tighter line, which compromised his mid-corner speed and exit speed.
Solberg with a load of correction on the exit there to keep himself out of the rear of Kevin Hansen, takes a wider line on the way into the corner. You can see the two of them very different. I was watching the Peugeot on the brakes guy on day 1. They're turning in, and the rear of the car looks so nervous, but it looks so pointy. It's got great turning on it.
Great turning, great balance, but these guys are on the pipe. They're both knocked in 41-second opening laps from a standing start.
Absolutely fully lit. Kristoffersen with Timmy Hansen going with him. Timmy would love to win. It's going to be the first weekend that he doesn't win a session, but Kristoffersen wants to get all four.
You can see mid-corner here how Timmy Hansen is really confident that car underneath him. Johan has to slide that VW a little bit more. Timmy drives it really neutral. Yes, a little drift, but he's looking at the side door of the VW, isn't he?
We think the joker was about 3.8 seconds yesterday, which is roughly what the gap is back to Backerud now. This is going to be super, super close, and the lead 2 cars have decided to leave it until the last lap. You're on board with Backerud now. He looks tidy, guy.
He does look very tidy, and he is dropping the 2 cars behind him ever so slightly, Hansen and Solberg, but he's not on the pace of Kristoffersen and Hansen. But
you can see the revs kicking on the floor there, and they just peak where the wheels are spinning.
Yeah, absolutely, and as we follow these 2 through into this last corner, obviously as we come to the last lap,
Kristoffersen up and over the crest. Timmy Hansen is so close behind him. Looks like Peugeot might have found some pace as we head towards the semis. They're absolutely on the limiter as they come past Coventry. Fastest out of the day. Timmy Hansen through the joker lap. Backerud could be close, but I think they're going to edge him. Backerud would love to get P2. He's going to have to slide to P3. He sees them going in front. It's close. VW, Peugeot and Audi again are super close here in Norway.
This is great from Andreas Backerud because he's not been quite on the pace, but he's really dragged this out of the fire. He's on fire, and let's see how close he can get to the back of Timmy Hansen's car with 2 corners to go.
2:41.3 is the target time of Niklas Gronholm. Is he going to take a session here for the first time for Hyundai, or is Kristoffersen going to do it as they round the last right-hander and head up towards the jump at the finish line? Kristoffersen 2:39.3. He's won all 4 qualifying sessions and is on imperious form here. 1.9 seconds faster. 2:39.2, that's the fastest time of the weekend. That is the fastest. He's gone 6/10 quicker than he went in Q1 yesterday. Brilliant performance from the world champion. Timmy Hansen really close behind him. The Peugeot was flying with that fastest lap as well. Backerud proving that the Audi's got the pace as we head into the final stages of the weekend. Kevin Hansen and Petter Solberg. Solberg look dropping down to the bottom of this screen, and we'll be able to have a look. Niklas Gronholm great in 4th place, but very much looking forward to seeing what these results mean for the overall standings. On board with Solberg. Guy, talk us through it.
Yeah, we're going to see Hansen to his left, Kevin Hansen, obviously 2nd gear start, and then Andreas Backerud. Everybody's ahead of him. How often do we see that? Petter Solberg at the back, but he ducked out and decided he was going joker. We see here obviously the rear out the front of Petter Solberg's car, Kevin Hansen and Andreas Backerud.
It's really interesting there. Backwards gone in all fully lit and sideways, and then you see Kevin's gone in really gingerly and tidy on the inside and still finds some time. Solberg's tried to go round the outside, round the inside. There's quite a few different techniques through the Joker, but these two, look, this was impressive. And Timmy, I'm impressed with too.
Oh, well, Timmy's been fast all year, hasn't he? But Andreas Backwood, it's his first year in this Audi, isn't it, EKS, and he just hasn't quite gelled with it, but at the same time, let's hope he's going to gel with it for the semi-final.
Fantastic job by Kristoffersson. Well, there you go. Johan Kristoffersson with 4 qualifying session wins. That's the first time this year that anybody has won every session. Timmy Hansen gets second place in the standings from Solberg. It will be Kristoffersson versus Solberg into turn 1 again in the semi-finals. They need to avoid each other, but it's Hansen versus Hansen in semi-final 2. Brilliant. Backward makes it through for Norway. Niklas Gröner with another outstanding performance in the Hyundai. Sebastian Loeb's gone through. Kevin Eriksson for IMSC. Great job. Larsen, Ekstrom's made it. Ekstrom makes it into semi-final 2. It'd be on the inside of the back row. Anton Markland for the second event. No, sorry, he didn't make it in. He didn't make it back in UK, but Anton's made it through here, so that's great. We've got a wild card gone through, and Yanis Balmanis in 12th. Rustad, look, just misses out. It's a shame for him to say he made it back at the last one. The 2 GCK cars. Disastrous weekend for them, unfortunately. They nearly made it. If they hadn't happened in Q1, Raja looked down in P16. It's a big entry here. Alex Wirtz continuing to learn. Tim Azyanov, such a long way down, and he was right up there until he broke a drive shaft in the pre-grid. What a shame for him. Well, absolutely fantastic stuff, especially at the closing stages of qualifying there, as always. As it gets towards the pointy end of the weekend, things just seem to happen, don't they? We've had drama for Tim Azyanov, we've had drama for Ekstrom. We've seen people just miss out and just make it through. But as you can see, the cars are down there in the pre-grid and they are ready to do battle in the semi-finals here in Norway for round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Well, we're looking at Kristoffersson already in the car with his helmet on, Guy. Looking fairly well relaxed. I did ask the team why they were wearing Union Jack gloves. Basically, they had a problem getting the Norway ones to them in time. Pernilla told me it was a tribute to us. So we'll take that, shall we?
Well, we can, yes. I think it's I think they made an excuse.
Okay, so Neil Cole is down in the pre-grid and he's managed to catch up with Timmy Hansen, who's sharing the front row of semi-final 2 with his brother Kevin.
Hey Timmy, so after yesterday, I know you were a little bit frustrated, but today, bang bang, you're in pole position for semi-final 2. So what happened? What changed?
I had an extra Red Bull this morning. Maybe yesterday wasn't really my day, and today everything's been going so well. I've been doing my thing and just been focused on that. And when everything is together, when I feel this comfortable in the car, when I'm there mentally focusing, then things are going really well, and it has done all year. But now, the real race is starting. Semi-final is now. So I'm really looking forward to these 12 laps we have ahead, and hopefully it's my day to step on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, I hope you're able to pull that off. Now, what's interesting about semi-final 2 is it seems to be very young. It's like the next gen. Because look at the drivers we've got down the line. Apart from Matthias Ekstrom, obviously, with all due respect to him. But this is the young semi-final. Is that good or is it bad?
It's quite cool, I think, that so many young drivers are coming. Johan just started his car too. Paul in the other semi is just a year or two older than me. So I think we have brought a lot of new ideas into the sport. Peter and Seb maybe have brought a lot of experience from rallying. But rallycross is a fast-growing sport, and it's about being inventive. It's about coming up with new ways to drive even quicker. And maybe that's why so many young guys here behind me. I'm almost the old one, huh?
Well, good luck. I hope you get to the final and maybe get that win.
Thank you.
Well, personally, I prefer Monster Energy on my Weetabix, but, there you go. We've all got to start the day somehow, haven't we? So, Timmy looking back down the line there, Guy. I'm not sure he was actually aware of... Obviously, he's pleased that his brother's on the front row, but then you go, oh, hang on a minute, this is the hot shot final. When you look back down the line, it was a bit like, oh, yeah, good point.
Yes, there is a lot of quality stacked up there, ready for semi-finals, isn't there?
Matthias Ekstrom getting himself ready to do battle from further down the grid than he would like. He's on row 3 on the inside. What can he do from there? Going to have to be a big push if he wants to claim a place at the front of the grid for the final. Hell in Norway is the venue for round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. There is a massive crowd in the background. 24,000 people have attended over the course of the weekend. That's up 3,000 from last year. And of course, that's because they've had several Norwegians to cheer on across the various classes taking place this weekend. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me on commentary is Guy Wilkes. Down in the paddock and the pre-grid, of course, is Neil Cole. And we're looking forward to bringing you the closing stages of course, the World Championship and also RX2. We can tell you how we got to the point where we've got these fantastic 12 drivers through to the semi-finals. Let's take a look. Top qualifier Johan Kristoffersen, utterly dominant this weekend. He won all 4 qualifying sessions. Timmy Hansen in P2, the Peugeots looked very quick on day 2. Solberg's in 3rd, Kevin Hansen in 4th. Kevin joining his brother on the front row of the semi-final. And it's Bakkerud, Gronholm, Sebastian Loeb, Kevin Eriksson, Larsen, Ekstrom a long way down after a 5-second penalty. Marken de Baumanis. Loeb, of course, missed a joker lap in Q3. That's why he's down in 7th, not a bit closer to the sharp end. Tommy Rustad just missing out. That's a shame for the Norwegians. They would have had 3 drivers to cheer on at home. There's a lot of Swedes there that they need to defeat if they want to take those podium places. Of course, the main man being Kristoffersen. Him and Solberg on the front row in semi-final 1. We've seen what's happened in Belgium and again in the UK. They're going to have to keep out of each other's way. On the other side, Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. A brilliant performance by Kevin. What will they do in turn 1 as well? You won't have to wait long to find out. Earlier on, before they got into the cars, Neil Cole had a catch-up with Petter Solberg.
Norwegian flag on the side of the car, tens of thousands of Norwegian fans watching, and you're in a very good position for semi-final 1.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's always good to be doing well in your home country. You know, it's very important, and well, it's not much pressure. They just try to get a consistent good run and try to get into the final. So I'm excited for sure. It's a tough competition. It's been a hard weekend, but again, you know, let's hope for the best.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Solberg's been playing it cool all weekend because he's in the previous years he said, oh yeah, I want to win it, and it hasn't gone his way. So what's going to happen in 2018? Semi-final 1 is lining up on the grid, and of course it features Solberg and Kristoffersen. Guy Wilkes, just quickly before they get themselves on the grid, they have to stay out of each other's way or it's going to be a really serious debrief.
Absolutely, we saw last time out in Silverstone, the UK round, they tangled in the first corner. They were lucky to get a red flag and a rerun. Petter Solberg lost out, Kristoffersen won the event, but it was blooming lucky.
Really lucky. Well, let's take a look then at the grid for semi-final 1. On the pole position, Johan Kristoffersen. Next to him, Petter Solberg, his teammate. New tyres for Kristoffersen. Remember, he said he'd saved those earlier on today. Row 2, Andreas Bakkerud and Sebastian Loeb. Bakkerud would love to win here in Norway. Sebastian Loeb recovering from missing that joker. Anton Marken, brilliant job to get through at the back of the grid here as a wildcard entry effectively in the World Championship. Of course, he used to be a regular, and Robin Larsen, good to see him in the semis in the OMSC Fiesta. Bakkerud looking out the side. He did this earlier, looks up to race control. I think he's looking for the signal from race control that goes to the marshals, so he just gets a couple of seconds extra warning. You can see the marshals are looking up there now. They look into the cockpits. The drivers reach down, flick the switches, grab the handbrakes and the gears. The marshals leave the grid. They're going to head to the back. You can keep your eyes on the front. You can see the lights on the left-hand side of your screen ready to race. Semi-final 1 is going to get underway. Good start, both VWs on the front. Markham, I'm not so sure about when he looks wide. Solberg Solberg moves across to Kristoffersen, but they give each other enough room. Solberg goes deep and heads across into the joker lap. Loeb's gone with him and marked them too. Kristoffersen leads on the standard lap. Oh, Loeb's close up behind Solberg, but not quite close enough.
Yeah, fairly standard start, which is unusual for this weekend. There's been a lot of carnage created off the start line, but back in the front of the field, Kristoffersen out in front, exactly what he wanted, and Solberg's in front of the joker pack.
So they've got what they needed, but the guy that did the sensible thing, they split the strategy. You saw Solberg move across, but not to the point of contact.
Just to allow nobody from the second row to come between them and spoil the party.
So that was a little bit deep there by Kristoffersen, just a little bit deep by him. Backward able to get up and maybe a couple of inches closer to him, but down towards turn one. It's into the joker lap, it is so. Joker lap for Larsen. Full send sideways, Larsen's on the gas, trying to make up a place. He's going to come in though, he's going to drop back behind the two cars, so it's Solberg and Loeb get in front of him. That was typical Larsen, wasn't it?
Yeah, and again, he's big sideways, but he's done a great job to get in behind Loeb there and ahead of Markland, you know, because he was following two cars. Big sideways action for Loeb, big moment to hang on to, and he has done indeed. Would you expect any less?
We saw that from Timmy Hansen earlier on this weekend. I had a chat with Susan Hansen, and she said one of the things they've worked on from yesterday to today was bump management for the 208. They said it's great, and then when it was really bumpy, they were struggling a bit, but they seem to have got their heads around it today, and the Peugeot's fast again.
Yeah, the track's getting a little bit rutted. Remember, we're late on in the day, and they repaired the track overnight, but now obviously it's churning and digging that dirt out, and I think that was probably a reaction that we saw right there from Sebastian Loeb's car down to in this corner that we're now coming to. So let's see if he does it again or he keeps under control.
You're on board with Solberg. Our joker lap predictor is saying there's only about 1/10 of a second in between him and Kristoffersen. He'll know that he needs to get that chase on, because this is going to separate them. Remember, the winner of the semi-final goes through to the front row of the final. Backrud wants to go through too, and I think Backrud, with this chasing pack behind him, you know, he's got to try and gap them, hasn't he, if he wants, because if he tries to slot in with Solberg and Loeb, it's going to be danger.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Backrud's just made a small mistake on the entry to that first corner there. Don't know quite why he got so wide, but he did get wide, and he's losing tenths. To be honest, in that last lap, he lost half a second to Kristoffersen alone.
Well, looking at the gap back to Solberg, Solberg's lost half a second too, so Solberg was within 1/10 before. Kristoffersen has done the work he needed to do here. Now, can Backrud go with him and hopefully slot in front of Solberg or Loeb? But we're going to see one of the two Norwegians miss out.
Yeah, we could potentially, but Johan Kristoffersen's just done a 37.9 the last lap. Let's see what he does this lap, because he's a man on a mission.
So Backrud is a little way off the back of Kristoffersen and potentially just in a tiny bit of danger as to whether or not he's going to go through. There is that chasing pack, Solberg and Loeb, the two rally men, so close together through their whole careers, even closer together now on the rallycross track, as we've got another lap to go. So this is crunch time, guys.
Yeah, it's all about the merge now. Obviously, Kristoffersen and Backrud have got to take the joker this next lap coming, and obviously Solberg, I think there could be a bit of a sandwich coming from the standard lap to the guys coming from the joker lap. Obviously, Kristoffersen and Backrud coming merging straight down into turn two.
Keep your eyes on Andreas Backrud. He did the clean sweep here a couple of years ago. He's not going to do it this weekend. It's Kristoffersen who's on for that, but they're both going to go to the joker lap. Kristoffersen sends the polo in nice and tidy. Backrud's in behind him, watching the inside lap. Kristoffersen's going to get this definitely. I think Backrud might have done enough as well. Andreas Backrud's going to come out close between Solberg. Backrud up the inside of his rival, his Norwegian rival Solberg. Loeb gives a tap in the rear of Solberg. Down the hill now, he's going to have a look up the inside into the hairpin. Surely Solberg will go defensive. Loeb's not near enough.
He has to, because Loeb's all over the back, and he will try absolutely everything. He's not missed a final, I don't think, so far this year.
Kristoffersen into the left-hander. He hasn't missed a podium so far this year, Loeb, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. So Kristoffersen into the last right corner. Backrud's going to make it too. Kristoffersen takes semi-final #1, the world champion, on for the clean sweep. Backrud makes it through. So does Solberg. The two Norwegian rivals are in the final at home, and Sebastian Loeb, his podium run is over. He's not going to make the final in Norway. Good stuff from semi-final #1. Two Norwegians in. Kristoffersen takes it from Backrud and Solberg. Loeb, Larsen and Anton Markland will go no further this weekend. Great drive by Kristoffersen. Neil Cole is up here in the spotters tower with us, so he's going to be with one of the teams, I think probably for Kristoffersen, the race winner. Let's have a chat with Neil now.
Fabrice, very good performance, especially by Johan, but it was tight there as to whether Petter would get through.
Yeah, it was really tight, for sure. Really nice race from Johan. We were trying to overtake Backrud on the joker lap, but we were missing a couple of tenths. But yeah, at the end, it's a really nice result for us.
And it looks like it could be a clean sweep for Johan.
Yes, it was a really clean sweep, so let's hope we can go till the end like that.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
on board with back at the start. You look at that, just away from the line. There, the VW, yeah, not too close, lads.
Yeah, exactly, but nice and clean in here. And Andreas backwards timed this really to perfection. He's just built. Very frustrated yesterday with Q1 and Q2, but today he's just built steadily and he's gaining confidence. And the car's coming underneath him. The team are working damned hard to make the car as good as it possibly can be for him. And the timing is coming now, isn't it? This is when he needs the pace.
Yeah, Larson here, look, jokered really early, but, you know, one lap in, he'd been out pace, and I guess that's the difference. I spoke to Andreas Eriksson at the start of the weekend. He said we're 3% off the top guys. We want to cut that gap to 1.5, but, you know, there's still a little bit of a gap there. This was the moment, isn't it? Yeah. I was surprised Backward, actually, because of the gap between Kristoffersson and Backward. I thought Backward might be in danger of slotting in between these two guys. Solberg gave him enough room as well, to be fair, so, you know, these guys are going to go through and fight it out in the final, which would be good fun.
Andreas had it covered off, no problem, and I actually thought it was going to be a sandwich. I thought Andreas might come out between Petter, as we see here. Andreas
he moved a bit left, didn't he? Went to shut the door. Anyway, job done. Kristoffersson makes it. So does Backward, and so does Solberg. Solberg will be pleased to have both his team cars in, but most of all, I'm sure the local fans will be pleased that we've got both of their Norwegian stars are through. Semi-final one, great fun, and we've got another one to come to decide the final 3 places in that final. Semi-final 2 in the pre-grid area. They'll be lining up on the grid just shortly. Neil Cole is down there at the back of that row, as you can see, is with Jānis Baumanis. It's going to catch up with the Latvian.
Jānis, an incredible effort to make it into the semi-finals. You're on the back row. Talk us through this weekend so far.
Yeah, the Q1 was quite okay. I was P12 and then on second qualification, or the second race from so far from Silverstone and Hell. I had contact quite big from Markland, and in Silverstone he broke my suspension yesterday, my drive shaft, so it was quite bad luck. And I would say I'm really pleased with the teamwork and all the mechanics that already from today, from P16 to P12 in the semi-final is really good. So I'm happy about everything that happened on Sunday.
And what can you do from this position on the grid in the semi?
You know, I just before the semi-final check all of them from 2014 semi-finals and the finals, and there is nothing what you can predict. So I would say I go flat out, take all of this I can take from the car, and we'll see what happens.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Basically, Baumanis has gone off and looked at every single semi-final and final from 2014 to now. That's every round of the World Rallycross Championship that's come here to Norway and gone, yeah, you can't predict it.
I think it's quite a random thing to do, to look that far back, but at the same time it just shows what length he's prepared to go to try and unearth and find something.
He's been in the semi-finals 3 times this year. He missed it in, where was it? I think it was the UK that he missed it when he wasn't feeling on top form, but he's been 4th in the semis in Spain, Portugal and Belgium. They're so achingly close to making it through to the final, and we know that's hard, particularly with the pace of the factory teams. Big crowd. Just having a little rest, as are we, before we get going. Looking forward to this one, Guy?
I am, absolutely. I'm not surprised, but or disappointed, but Sebastian Loeb's not made a final.
Yeah, yeah. Well, funny, I think he's had a slightly off weekend. Obviously, Barcelona, actually, what people seem to forget, of course, is Barcelona, he didn't make the semis. It was only when they pulled Kevin across that he made it, and that gave him the start of what became a brilliant run. You know, 2 seconds, the win in Belgium, the 3rd in the UK. Okay, you know, he's still going to be in the championship hunt, but that does rather help out Kristoffersson, doesn't it? Because Loeb, of course, he was 2nd in the championship, has not made the final, and Kristoffersson has. So there's a massive 8 points to be grabbed straight away. The gap was already 14. Anyway, we've got another 3 places up for grabs yet, so let's get stuck in, shall we? The cars are starting to roll around to the grid, going through that little tyre warm area. Timmy Hansen, who's been on such good form as the weekend's gone on. I think the pace of the Peugeots has got a little bit better. We're looking forward to this one. There are the 2 brothers pulling up to the grid for semi-final number 2. Monster Energy girls down there as well, waiting for the start. The crowd enjoying that noise behind them, all up on the rig at the top of the hill. Big smile from Timmy, lovely, really big. Someone said something on the radio, haven't they? Someone has said something on the radio to him there. He's normally getting himself all fired up when he's on the grid, but big smile.
Good to see him nice and relaxed.
Yeah, it is. And Susan was really made up with the fact that the brothers, she said they've been on this long journey together, and there they are both on the front row.
Yeah, the mother, who plays a big role in the team, as does the father, have their 2 sons on the front row, obviously of semi-final 2.
Yeah, amazing. Now, what's your money on, Guy? Because I personally think they'll split the strategy. Well, let's see. Let's have a look at this first. Here's the grid for semi-final number 2. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen on the front row. Surely they'll go either way at turn 1. Niklas Gronholm and Kevin Eriksson on row 2. And on row 3, Matthias Ekström and Janis Baumanis. What can Ekström do from there? Expect full-on, flat-out fireworks. Strategy split, Guy? I think so. VW did it. You might as well.
Absolutely. I think the ones to watch here, obviously the 2 Peugeots, Niklas Grönholm, can't discount anybody, but Matthias Ekström firing from the back.
Yeah.
Sit down and enjoy this.
I think he'd prefer to be on the outside. He's got more opportunities from there, but let's see if he gets boxed in, what he does. Timmy Hansen won't be blinking for the next few seconds. Neither will his brother Kevin, with a brilliant opportunity to make it through to the final from here. Good start by the Peugeots and by Ekström. Ekström's done Gronholm already. Ekström up to the inside. Surely not going to look at Hansen. He doesn't. So around the outside, Kevin Eriksson and Kevin Hansen. Kevin Eriksson's gone with the full drop sideways. Full round the outside. Kevin Hansen just edges him. So Kevin Hansen just holds on. But Ekström's up to P2.
My goodness, Ekström's had the best start he could have ever hoped for, and the 2 in the Joker were slowing each other down. So this could really play into Ekström's hands now. Niklas Gronholm's made a good recovery to get back on the tail after that poor start.
On board with Janis Baumanis, I say he's made it to 4th in the semi-finals 3 times this year. He wants to just go that one place better, but the minute he's on the back of a train of 4, so he's kind of got to do something, Guy, to liven his race up.
Yeah, absolutely, but I think at the front here, Timmy Hansen, you know, he's definitely going to have the hammer down, but super smooth driver. Oh, Matthias Ekström having a little bit of a snipe. There's not really a gap to get down the inside unless he makes a mistake, but down into turn 2 here. Little nip on the handbrake and away they fire down the hill. Actually, Matthias Ekström looks really comfortable sitting behind him. The car was really neutral around that corner.
Timmy's been really careful, isn't he? Well, not careful, but he's being very measured with his inputs. He's being smooth. We did see that worked for him in Q4 when he was on the pace. Up and over the crest, looks through the corner, down a gear, turns the car back in again, but Ekström's all over him.
He is all over him, but I'm just wondering here, because obviously his brother's leading the Joker pack, and whether he's had a call, you know.
Back them up.
Yeah, back them up. Make sure you don't make a mistake. Don't let anybody pass your brothers in front of the guys on the Joker lap strategy. You know, it's not a case of give him a chance, but make sure that you don't force yourself into an error.
Great shout, Guy Wilson. I think he could be backing him up. Don't forget as well, there's only 2 people who've gone Joker on that one. In the last semi, we saw 2 packs of 3. We've got 2 who've gone and 4 who haven't. And Baumanis, for me, is already falling back in. At the minute, Kevin Hansen would come out in front of Timmy Hansen. So what do you say now? Big push, Timmy, or do you hold him on to the end of the race? But they've given Kevin the chance, haven't they?
This is World Championship. You've got to go for it. That's why I'm not saying it's necessarily a strategy, but at the same time...
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. So Timmy Hansen out front from Ekström. Gronholm as well. Baumanis and right behind them. Look, Kevin Hansen's already chasing them down. There's your Joker, that predictor at the bottom of the screen. We think it's 3.9. Oh, it's gone back in the favour of Timmy Hansen after that one. So has he held them up for a couple of laps? And they're like, okay, now go. Now go. He's in the area we need him in.
He was just a little bit nervous of the car around this corner that we're watching now. It's rutted. You can see that if the back gets out like that, you can lose so much time, and that's what he did not want to do. We saw Sebastian Loeb do that the race before, so I think he was just checking the track out, to be quite honest.
Timmy's being really measured with his inputs. He's looking after that car. Remember as well, he's had 2. Oh, Timmy Hansen had a good look in the mirrors. He really looks unsettled in the car, doesn't he? Doesn't look that comfortable at all. So I think he's going to hold on to the last lap. Baumanis goes, but he's really sideways and late. I think he's going to be too late. He might manage to cover off Eriksson if he's lucky, but I think even Eriksson might get him. Contact between them or not? No, tightly done. So Baumanis to the back with Eriksson. So this is about Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen. I think Kevin's going to get this definitely, and I suspect Gronholm will be the one who loses out. But let's see. Timmy over the top of the crest.
Yeah, just to be clear, I don't think Kevin's going to get the front 2, but I definitely think he's going to make Niklas. Yes,
he'll make it.
It's going to be tight though. Here we go, we're coming to the Joker now.
Here we go, Timmy Hansen over the crest, Ekstrom right behind him, Gronholm jumps up too. Watch for the merge between Gronholm and Kevin Hansen, up into that gravel Joker lap, sideways around. I think Kevin's got this, so Kevin's going to come and he's going to slot in behind Ekstrom, but that's what happened. So Kevin Hansen in behind Ekstrom, great job
Nicholas Gronholm is just too far away to do anything about it. These three are going to take it to the flag as long as there's no mistakes, no problems with the car. Here we go.
Fantastic
the hill
stuff.
one last time.
Kevin Hansen did make it through to the final in the UK, finished 6th place there, but 2 finals in a row is great for him. Timmy Hansen, to me, hasn't looked that comfortable in this one, but he's got the job done. He takes the win, and that will see Timmy Hansen on the front row for the final. Ekstrom goes through to row 2 to keep the rivalry alive, because, of course, backwards in there as well. And Kevin Hansen, meaning we've got 2 Peugeots, 2 Audis and 2 VWs, but it's the wrong Peugeot in some ways. That's nothing against Kevin, of course, that's from the championship point of view. But unfortunately, Loeb didn't get the job done. I wonder if there would be, who would be the first reserve. We need to figure that out and see whether or not Kevin will remain in the final. Timmy Hansen takes it from Matthias Ekstrom and Kevin Hansen, so 3 Swedes going through. Then it's Gronholm, Eriksson and Baumanis.
Timmy, there's a big smile on your face. That looked like a very good drive, very measured, very mature.
Yeah, I saw Ekstrom in my mirrors and I understood I cannot do any mistake. And from my spotter, I knew that the gap from the Joker was nothing to worry about. So just had to keep the tight lines. For him, it's impossible to go around the outside. So if I just keep on the apex, there's nothing he can do. So a win is a win. But he was really on my bumper. But it will be good now to line up on the front row. Did Johan win the other semi? So I will be second. Looking forward to that.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at this then, on board with Baumanis off the start, but the man was Ekstrom guy in both terms of his start and
Watch him appear
in terms
here on
of
the
his
right-hand
pace.
side. His pace was absolutely hampered, dare I say, by Timmy Hansen in front, and he admitted that. He was on the apex everywhere. He knew he couldn't go around the outside of him. He just did not have to make a mistake, but if I ran through the laps, some of the laps, it's not even a 1/10 of a second difference between Timmy Hansen's time and Matthias Ekstrom. He's on his bumper, as you can see there, glued to that car.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic job.
I think the EKS team might have just turned the wick up on that engine there, giving it absolutely full gas, because Backerwood and Ekstrom's pace there in semis was really markedly different.
Yeah, mega impressive. Now, we've been checking the results, and Niklas Gronholm is the first reserve for the final, meaning that if anybody withdraws, Gronholm would go through, we think. So that should mean that Kevin will remain in the final, because again, if you're a team, you have to be sensible, especially when Loeb's second in the driver's standings.
Absolutely. Kevin can take points away from other drivers.
Preparation going on. Nowhere near as much tape needed on that car as it was a fortnight ago in Silverstone when they're out there with rolls of the stuff, but they're both in the final. Going to be mega. Not long to re-prepare these cars, Guy, and from a driver's point of view, you know, you've been through semi-finals, final. If you're in semi-1, you've got a little bit longer. Semi-2, not quite so much. Is it stressful, either or both?
Q2 is definitely more stressful, because you're back into the service area now. As we can see, the car is zinging hot. It's only just come off the track, so for the mechanics to do anything, hopefully they come back in. You can see there they're feeding the car cool air to cool it down underneath the bonnet temperatures. This is VW. They have anything and everything for these machines.
Yeah, front radiators, remember, in these cars, where a lot of the teams are still running rear radiators. But as the team prep continues, nervous times, we're going to have a look at an onboard, in fact, from semi-final number 2. So Janis Baumanis off the line. Let's run through on this one. So up to the gear, second gear start again, guys. We've seen a lot this weekend, and that's because of the very specific start here.
Yeah, it's slightly downhill, and you know, it drops away about 7 or 8 meters after the start on the flat, but you can pick up speed very quickly. But here you can see it's all on the back of Niklas Gronholm. You know, as they drop down the hill, very fast right-hander, click up the gears, 4th gear, and you're on the brakes trying to stabilize the car and make sure it doesn't get away from you in the rear, because you don't want to get too sideways through this corner, and make sure you've got a straighter exit as possible to get the hammer down, get traction, get fired up over this crest. You can see just lifting there, bit of dust, cars in front. That's how much different it is from running in traffic to actually having clear air.
It's kind of unfortunate for Balmanis. If he'd made it up to P3 in turn 1, you've got so many more options, haven't you? But
indeed.
There we go. So we're going to take a look at the final lap. So this is Timmy Hansen and Matthias Ekström again. So as you say, Timmy, he just banged it on the apex. He didn't really look to me like he was taking any risks. You know, not a case of many, not any. But of course, as he said, as long as I don't overshoot, Ekström can't get past. And
it was an expert piece of defensive driving.
Yeah.
Even though it's racing, that was an expert piece of defensive driving. He didn't give Matthias Ekström a sniff anywhere, really.
And is that why he looked a bit stressed? Because obviously that defensive driving takes full concentration in the same way that attacking driving does.
When you're attacking, you're always looking ahead. When you're defending, you're looking ahead and trying to look behind him. We saw him in the mirrors looking left and right and in his rear view mirror just to see what he was doing. It's a huge distraction. It takes great concentration to do it and lead like that.
And there you go, you can see it. Look at the look on Timmy's face, coming over the crest, a little bit of opposite lock through the last right-hander, but holding on for the checkered flag, and that was what was important. So we're going to see him on the front row. The final is going to be fantastic. Re-prep going on at Peugeot as well. You can see the damage down the side of the car there. That looks like that would be from Erlex. I don't remember Kevin having too many comings together in that semi. Nut Guns putting the best of the remaining tyres on. Remember, they've only got 8 of the Cooper tyres each weekend, plus some spares from the start of the season. Fair bit of battle damage on that, but there might be some more to come. Two races left to go for this big Norwegian crowd. The sun's come out for them to be able to see the World Championship final, of course, but before that, we've got the final for RX2. So these are the young guns. These are the guys you can look to be taking seats in the supercars in future. Of course, we've had Kevin Hansen, Kevin Eriksson have made their way up through. We've got Cyril Raymond has just moved into European Supercar. We've got some great drivers come up through this series, and I think we're in for a decent fight today. The championship is currently led by Oliver Eriksson on 46 points, from Gryazin on 44, Sondre Evjen on 42. So it's close enough at the front. The 6 cars with their young pilots are sat on the grid, good to go, and this is who they are. On pole position, the championship leader, Oliver Eriksson. Henrik Krogstad is on the front row. He's currently 5th in the series and just 12 points behind. Guillaume de Ridder has had a torrid year so far, but he's up there now. He was one of the runners-up last year, 3rd in the championship last year, was favourite coming in. Sondre Evjen, he's 4th on the grid, 3rd in the series at the minute. Vasily Gryazin and William Nilsson. So Gryazin, as I say, was 2nd. So all the championship contenders have made it through to this one. Guy, should be good.
It should be really good. You know, these cars, slightly less power than the big bangers, but at the same time, great fun. You see a slightly neater and more tactical driving style, but the boys are really holding on to them.
And that driving style will suit them well when they get to supercar. We all love to see the sideways style, but we've seen what can be done with the accuracy as well. So Oliver Eriksson on the left-hand side of your picture needs to get away well. Watch for de Ridder behind him as well. So good start by Eriksson's got it hooked up. He'll have the choice of tactics down into turn 1. De Ridder is nicely up the inside as well. Gryazin and 3 cars head off from the outside of the grid into the Joker lap. Evjen, Krogstad and Nilsson. So it's quite standard.
Yeah, it is standard, but it's what it means is the person in 3rd position, whether you've gone Joker lap or standard lap, has to really get themselves to the front whichever way they can, but they have to do it on the track.
I always feel like they should mix their strategy up a bit from the 2 who are in front of them, especially in case the 2 in front of them make a mistake, but clearly you need to hope that the gap behind you is the right size at that point. Is this when you rely on your spotter?
It's impossible to do that with a first corner Joker, because obviously you're all heading down there. The last thing you want to do is all 5 of you or 6 of you pile into the Joker or the standard lap.
From now on, though, you know, we often see the 2 group of 3 will all hold out till the end. You know, I don't know. I think if you're the 3rd in that group of 3, then maybe you should do something different.
2nd in the 1st group, that's the person that is the key now. When he jokers, if he can come out in the pack of 3, if he, for example, Eriksson, de Ridder is following him, if he feels like he's being held up by Eriksson in front of him, he should joker and try and come out in front of Krogstad, give himself some free, clean air, and try and close the gap on Eriksson time-wise.
Krogstad leading the 2nd group of cars. Oliver Eriksson, though, who I have to say was brilliant in the semi-final. Just had a little push, got himself a nice gap, came out the Joker lap with no problems at all.
Yeah, absolutely. He's spent years driving these cars. He knows them inside out, back to front. Obviously, his dad's been involved in designing and building the cars, and he's raced them in America as well as all over Europe. He is probably the most comfortable of anyone in the world, let alone in this pack, in one of these cars.
Ericsson and De Ridder look to me like they're dropping Gryers in by just a little bit. At the minute, De Ridder only 0.7 back. In theory, could get out in front of Krogstad, but 3.8. And remember, that's a supercar Joker lap time. We're not really sure. See the speed you carry through here. It's not quite such a difference. Maybe you come down really low in the speed. These cars take a little bit longer to build up, but if you can carry the momentum through the Joker, maybe a similar difference in lap time.
Yeah, obviously difference in weight of the cars, a little bit lighter, and obviously different balance of the car with them being sort of mid to rear engine.
Ericsson's gone now. Ericsson's gone early, so Ericsson has gone into the Joker lap early. They've been looking at the times behind, and actually it's pretty close. So Ericsson slots in just in front of Krogstad. So what did Krogstad do on that last lap? Did somebody look at the timing screen and think, hello, you need to get in there?
Yeah, because he was doing 40.8, 40.4, and actually it was a great call by the spotter. Oliver Ericsson can't see what the heck's happening back there. He is totally reliant on that piece of strategy, so absolutely bang on from the spotter's tower.
Really, really good. So Ericsson Jokers earlier than we maybe expected, but manages to get back out in front of Krogstad. Krogstad this year has had a third place in Belgium.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was talking about, but I was expecting De Ridder to do it, not Ericsson, but obviously Ericsson spotter felt that you need to do it now and cover this off and make sure we get the win.
When you're the P2 man, so like, De Ridder's Joker man, and you see that Ericsson's gone and only just come out in front, you're then thinking, okay, have I missed something here? Like, I need to look at the times. Do I send him? Do I keep him out?
Now he's only got one option: stay out till the end and try and go as fast as he can.
So get the clear track and go for it.
Yes.
Okay, well that's what we're going to see De Ridder doing then. So Krogstad, the Norwegian youngster, would love to take the win here at home, but I think it's going to be Ericsson at the moment. What's the gap back now? De Ridder has got a 4-second gap, so De Ridder's got 4 seconds over Ericsson. De Ridder dives in, so De Ridder in on the last lap. Here we go. Round the right-hander, he's got to get out in front of Oliver Ericsson. Could be good tactics by De Ridder's team. He's going to go late on the brakes. Oliver Ericsson's going to give a little nudge in the rear. Has a look up the inside, but De Ridder's managed to hold on. Great job. Guy Wilkes called it.
Great effort. He did. He had the hammer down, but I didn't actually think he'd done enough. He just got a great exit of the Joker.
2 OMSE cars at the front of the field. I'll say it's been a dreadful year for De Ridder so far. He's retired in the semi-finals both times. He qualified third in Belgium. He qualified second in the UK, but hasn't managed to hold on through the semi-final stages. Today, he has got the job done. It is Guillaume De Ridder who takes the win in round 3 of RX2 2018 from Oliver Ericsson. Great drive, and Henrik Krogstad for Norway coming through in P3. Very impressive, Guy Wilkes.
It was indeed. That was a great drive. I think Oliver Ericsson will be a little bit disappointed, but teammates there, I'm sure there's nothing to be said between them because there was no contact.
No, nice, tidy.
I think they'll just be congratulating each other.
De Ridder with 8 points for the win. Oliver Ericsson second place. Third place, Henrik Krogstad. Evjen, the Norwegian, in fourth, then Gryers in and Nilsson. Tidy race from the RX2 drivers. Be interesting to see what that does for De Ridder. See whether or not he can move up a little bit closer to the top. Anyway, back to the World Championship now. Neil Cole is with Kenneth Hansen. Let's have a catch up with him.
Kenneth, congratulations. Both your boys are through to the final here in Norway, which must be good. But it looked like there was some frantic activity around Kevin's car back in Persia. What's going on?
You know, when you have a proper circuit like this, you have some curbs there, and the curbs is hurting the car if you cut them. Sometimes they arrive there, and this time it took some of the shield, so they are just fixing that. It's not a big thing, but it's more secure to have it good.
It's great work by them because there's not much time, is there? Because even for you, you've got to get up on the hill.
It's amazing how the mechanics can work and do the work they do in so short time, you know, under the pressure and everything, so I'm amazed.
It's a great job by the team, and the situation for Sebastian, it just goes to show how much trouble can be caused just by missing one Joker.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big loss there, and of course it's a mistake. We work together in the team, and a spotter is very important, and unfortunately that's happened. I made myself in the past also, so I know it happens sometime, but yeah, it's shit when it happened.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck in the final.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kenneth Hansen saying there what a big mistake that was for Lowe. It really is, Guy.
Yeah, he did indeed. He alluded to what had gone on, but Sebastian told us earlier that he just didn't get the call. Obviously, he's trusting what his spotter's saying, wasn't looking at the lap boards, he's focusing on what he's doing, and obviously just didn't get anything, missed the lap boards, just drove the standard lap.
Well, there we go. You've just seen the RX2 final. The guys are still celebrating down at the end of the start-finish straight, and we can take a look at the championship standings and see what's happened, who's closer to the front. So Oliver Eriksson came here with just a 2-point lead over Vasily Gryazin, and you can see he's extended that lead now to 9 points, and it's over Sondra Evjen. Vasily Gryazin drops down a place, Evjen moving up from 3rd to 2nd. So good results there. Unfortunately for Derrida, doesn't seem to have done much for his championship standings, but there we go. Massive, massive crowd with one race left to go. And there they are, look. Johan Kristoffersson is down there with Neil Cole. We hope to never catch up with him in a moment, if we can. You can see him climbing into the car at the front of the grid. Johan's on for the clean sweep. It's only ever been done once in 50, I think this is the 54th World Rallycross Championship event. Only one person has ever won every single qualifying heat, semi-finals and final. It was Andreas Backrud, and he did it here. I'm not sure how pleased Backrud will be to have to hand the golden broom over to Johan Kristoffersson in Norway, but I'm sure he'll have a good go at taking it back again in Sweden. Okay. Neil Cole is now with Johan Kristoffersson, the world champion, getting ready to go for that clean sweep, although I know Johan will just be interested in the top step of the podium.
So Johan, at the front edge of the end of the final here in Norway, on the verge of making history again as a clean sweep. And of course there's no Loeb in the final, which is good for the championship. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm just keeping my eyes forward, not thinking about the others. Will do my job, do my launch, just let the car do the job, just drive, and then we'll see where they put us.
Well, good luck with that, thank you.
He's focused, isn't he? Really, really focused. He's taken 3 out of the 4 wins so far this year. Can he take number 5 in Norway? Outrageous record of performance from this man. Last race of the weekend in Hell. It's turned out nice again in Hell, just in time for the final.
The clouds are broken. I don't think there's anybody left in hospitality. They're all out on the hillsides, aren't they?
I was going to say the clouds are broken, but the crowds are broken as well, I think, looking at some of them. There've been some who've definitely been on a bit of a lads weekend. Yeah, supporting not just the lads either, a big crowd of people, as I say, of here supporting all the drivers, to be fair. It's one of the things I love is the fact that everybody travels around Europe to go to the different races. I often get messages from people, there we go, there's a supercharger war for fastest reaction time in the final. Yeah, people message saying, what event shall I come to? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, there's so many good ones to try.
There is, and this is a completely different one. We're in a natural amphitheatre of an excavated quarry that's been filled in and made into a motorsport arena. So there's no actual grandstands, it's just the hillsides, and you can see the crowd
flags,
snaking. Some parts are too steep to get a chair on, that you can see that the earth's standing out, but yeah, it's absolutely cracking.
You wouldn't put it, you pass this lot to bring, you know, shovels and actually dig another tier in to put another row of seats in, you know. They're
industrious, to say the least.
Time for the final. There's that lovely blue sky that we've been waiting for all day. I say it has been cold, but it isn't now. Of course, the temperature's coming up just at the point when you need to be choosing your launch settings, Guy, and what track temperature's changed a bit.
Yeah, it's increased a little bit. It's getting more towards where it was yesterday when we had bright blue skies all day, so we're now at just under 24 degrees track temperature, but I don't think anybody's really looking at that, to be honest.
He wants to win big time, doesn't he? You know, him and Solberg would so desperately like to win here.
Johan Kristoffersson's had such a magical run for so long. Petter's not been a winner on the top step of the podium for so long. And obviously, Andreas Backerud, you know, he's come from his old team to now EKS, and he's not had the start he wanted to the championship, but now, in that semi-final, we just saw a glimpse of what we all know he can do. Could he do it here and stick it over?
Yeah,
and take the broom back as quick as everybody else thinks that Johan Kristoffersson's going to get it.
Ekstrom, with that incredible performance to get himself to this point, you can't count him out. What is 6th to 2nd, wasn't it, off the start? In his semi-final. Listen to that low rumble again. One last tyre warm. Nobody sounds like they've bogged on their tyre warm, so they'll be checking their settings. I noticed it's brand new tarmac though in the grid, so got to get it dead right. The team will have some data from over the years and from the course of the weekend as to what they think they should do. Kevin Hansen rolls onto the grid. He's the only man in this final who's never stood on the podium. Not, you know, all the others have had wins. Here's the lineup. Johan Kristoffersen, the world champion, on the front row with Timmy Hansen next to him. Two Swedes battling it out with VW and Peugeot. The two Audis alongside each other. Ekstrom in the box seat there to cause an upset. He's on the outside. He can maybe choose what he does down in turn one backward. Would love a home win. On the back of the grid, Petter Solberg equally would desperately love a home win. And how much would Kevin Hansen love just to get on the podium? If he won, my goodness me, he'd go mad. Crowd are about to go mad. They're on their feet, I'm on my feet. I suspect some of you at home are as well. Some things just can't be watched sitting down. Round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship is about to be settled in a big fight down towards turn 1. Here we go. Revs up. Lights out. Good start. Ready in the constant back contact between Backward and Hansen. Contact again. Hansen gets spun round. He's going to go over the curb sideways if he's not lucky. Kristoffersen is away, and Solberg through too. Ekstrom, Backward and Hansen are sat in turn 1, and that is a disaster for them.
Yeah, unbelievable starter. You know, we'll have to get on the replay. There's always so much action, but the VWs have landed so lucky, haven't they? Solberg from the back row of the grid, Kristoffersen from the front row. Petter Solberg, everything's landed in his lap, and he'll think it's Christmas.
They've absolutely handed it to them, haven't they? Okay, so Solberg would love to win from here, but at the end of the day, he's not going to do anything to risk Kristoffersen, and he's got to keep up with Kristoffersen.
This is exactly what Peugeot didn't want for a championship as well.
Disaster. Absolutely.
Hey, we've got a long way to go. Let's see what happens.
We have got 5 laps left through turn 1. Joker so far, Ekstrom and Kevin Hansen. Don't forget, those two can be chasing them down. We'll keep an eye on the gap and on the lap times, because Ekstrom is in front of Kevin. A guy, you were saying Ekstrom was your form man from the semi-finals. If anyone can catch the VWs, maybe he can find that extra bit. Solberg wins the Monster Energy Supercharger award for fastest reaction time.
Yeah, absolutely. Ekstrom's the man, even though it's only the first split into this lap from the finish line to the exit of the first corner. Ekstrom's done a 10 dead. He's taken a 1/10 of a second off Kristoffersen and Solberg. It's only a 10th, but that's all he needs to do in a few places.
That's all he needs, because it's 3.8 at the minute. A 10th would be enough. 2 tenths would maybe take it.
It's just been eked out. Kristoffersen's done him in the last sector there. He pulled the 10th back.
So there's nothing Ekstrom can do except sit there and chase it. Kevin Hansen could be on for a podium, but he needs to be right with Ekstrom if he wants to make that happen.
He needs to push himself to a level he's maybe never been to now, because obviously the pace is hot.
Backward goes through the Joker lap. Backward and Hansen well out of the back. We'll have a good look at that first corner instant after the race. But let's focus on this man here, Kristoffersen, aiming for his 4th win this season and aiming for the clean sweep in Norway. What's the gap as they come round over the start-finish line? This time it was 3.955 last time as he crosses over the line. Wait for Ekstrom. It's about to appear on your screens.
Yeah, he's just not quite doing enough. He's kind of just eked
it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, from Kristoffersen, but they're down into the 37.9s.
At the minute, the predictor is saying Kristoffersen would have it, but it might be that Ekstrom would separate the 2 VWs, so Ekstrom might be able to get Solberg here, which means that Hansen needs to get as close as he can, as we said, in the hopes that he might get Solberg too. So it's still on for the podium, but Kristoffersen looking strong for the win.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's unbelievable for such close racing we've had all the way through the qualifiers and the semis. This has actually been strung out by that incident in the first corner, and it hasn't spoiled the action, but it's what it's meaning is we're going to have to wait till everybody's completed the Jokers to see where everybody's going to launch.
Here we go. Solberg goes now. Solberg into the Joker. This is to try and protect from Ekstrom, and I think Ekstrom's done enough already. Maybe he's trying to protect himself with Kevin Hansen. Kevin Hansen, who's going to come out of the dust first? It's Solberg, and Hansen's a few car lengths back, so Ekstrom's up to P2. The gap is 4.0. We're waiting for the world champion to Joker.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristoffersen's just eking out just a little bit every lap, and it's no more than a little tiny bit. But Kevin Hansen has to do something super special if he wants to get a podium right now. He's almost close enough. He's a second behind Petter Solberg, but can he get close enough? He's got 1 lap.
He'd have to make a mega pass on him as well, don't forget. Here we go, Kristoffersen into the Joker lap. This for the win. He'll just have 3/4 of a lap to go, and Ekstrom's not going to be close enough. Guy, you said it, Kristoffersen's just done a tiny bit, but it's enough.
Yeah, so far it's been absolutely superlative, and this is for the clean sweep over the whole weekend. Like you said, only ever been done by Andreas Backward. I'll let you take it to the finish.
Absolutely fantastic job by Kristoffersen. He comes up towards the top of the hill. This has been an incredible, imperious display, which is worthy of the number 1 on the car. Number 1, it's number 4 for Kristoffersen. He wins his 4th from 5 events. It's a Swede on the podium in Norway, followed by another one in Ekstrom. Brilliant recovery. Solberg will make the podium at home. Kevin Hansen with 4th place, brilliant result in that, might be his best ever result. It is equal to his best result again. Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backerud rounding out the top 6. So the first corner rather diffused that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it did indeed, Andrew, but at the same time, you know, it's been a great weekend, but the person who has pulled it, a rabbit out the hat there, is Matthias Ekström. He got a 5-second penalty in a qualifier, and he also didn't finish a qualifier.
Yeah, brilliant job. Absolutely fantastic. Right, let's go and have a catch-up with Neil Cole.
Fabrice, a fantastic double podium for the team, but just talk a little bit about how special that this weekend has been from Johan Kristoffersen.
Yeah, it's an outstanding performance from Johan. From the first meter, he was in the front. He won the final. Also, really great race from Petter. He started from the last line, finished 3rd. It's a fantastic result for us.
Both championships, it looks really good now.
It's looking really good. We are extending the lead in both driver and team championship, so that's, let's say, almost a perfect weekend.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Here is the result of round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Kristoffersen takes it from Ekström. Solberg gets 3rd, and the Monster Energy Supercharger Award. Brilliant job by Kevin Hansen. Unfortunate incident between Timmy Hansen and Andreas Backerud on the run down to turn 1, which took them out. Timmy just can't seem to quite get a break this year. We'll have another look back at the action in a moment, I'm sure. Good job, Kristoffersen, basically. Again, you know, just perfect all weekend. Said he's felt at one with the car.
Yeah,
another look back at the start.
Let's have a look.
So Backerud gets a good start. It's a little nudge between him and... did Ekström hit Timmy and then Timmy hit Backerud?
I think maybe so. You know, we'd need to see that from either dead ahead or right behind.
On board with Backerud, watch. Here's Timmy. Yeah, Timmy's not turned in like that.
No. He's taken a nudge, and it might have been from...
Ekström was out. Ekström was outside Timmy. Ekström was out. Backerud can't go. Here we go. Watch.
It already happened though. It already happened by that point. But geez, how did they get away without having punches or even rolling?
Well,
because
if that flat look, they just skidded over the flat part of the curb before the race section rises up. I was thinking the same myself when Timmy went in sideways. It's almost the point where you think, is he going to dig in and roll?
Yes.
But he didn't. And from then on, really, Solberg didn't quite look like he could match the pace of his teammate.
It wasn't the fact of that, he couldn't match Matthias Ekström's pace. Matthias Ekström actually had the fastest lap, albeit by 0.03 of a second. He was just doing enough, and he was on Kristoffersen's pace,
Here
and
it is,
the only one on his pace.
Look, and that was in response to Ekström, but by then it was too late.
Yeah, we're getting that close now, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's not tense, it's
well,
hundreds.
Don't forget there were only 4 cars in the fight here because Hansen and Timmy and Backerud were so far back. That really meant that, you know, there wasn't quite the slotting in that we've seen so far this year.
And first time a Peugeot hasn't been on the podium as well.
Yes, yeah, Loeb has been up there every time. Still great performance by them, and I think after Q1 I think they could have won. Q2 they were maybe a little bit off the pace, and then today, you know, they were on fire again. I did wonder if Timmy might be able to get the job done, but to be honest with you, this guy's looked so... That's the total opposite way to win to Silverstone. Silverstone, you're in the tyres, you meet your teammate, it's a total nightmare. You fight your way all the way back through, and then this one, it looks like a walk in the park. Solberg pleased with Kristoffersen. They're both asking for their caps, sponsor requirements, but great job by Kristoffersen. Win number 4. Cars are down in Parc Fermé. Solberg's happy enough with the 3rd. He'd like more at home. You know he desperately wants that win, but I don't think he could have done it this weekend against Kristoffersen.
No, I don't think so, and I don't think he begrudges him one bit. You know, even though they had the incident, there is the man of the moment.
He needs to hold 4 fingers up, doesn't he? I mean, yeah, at the minute, what was last year? It was crazy. You had 10 podiums, 9 podiums in a row, won 5 events in a row, had 6 wins in a season. They're all new records for the World Rallycross Show. It looks like he's certainly the only person who can break them. There aren't enough events left for anyone else to. Right, we're going to check out Andreas Backerud's onboard. So let's see his onboard from the start. There you go. A little nudge there. He can live with that, because but then that's...
Yeah, there's something coming from the outside, and we can't see it from that onboard.
He's gutted here, guy, because he can't do anything. Timmy can't restart the car.
It's a T-bone, and he can't go anywhere unless he selects reverse, but he knows there it's all gone.
Okay, now we're going to see it from Kevin. Watch this. Who's that? No, Timmy, sorry, that was Timmy. I think you could see he got hit twice from the left-hand side on the way down to turn 1.
Yeah, but you know, it's the final. They're fighting tooth and nail.
Yeah, but...
We would like to see the
side there,
an angle that we haven't seen.
Here. Watch Ekström on the outside. Watch Ekström. Ekström only. Watch Ekström.
Timmy into Andreas first. Extra into Timmy.
Tiniest of touch. You can't
it's
blame
nothing.
Matthias for that.
That's racing.
It's just one of those
that's
things.
You're fighting
but the
tooth and nail.
reaction to Timmy is actually, you're surprising how markedly his car moves considering how small the touch was. So yeah, you have to say, Racing Instant.
Andreas will be distraught, won't he?
Oh, he'd be gutted. And of course, Andreas at the moment will be cross with Timmy because he will see it as Timmy's done that to him. And of course, when he sees it back, he'll be like, no, okay, fair enough.
Johan Kristoffersen was lucky that he did not get collected.
Yeah.
Look how close it was.
Yeah.
And it was over those rough curbs. It was so lucky in so many ways.
Look
and so
at that.
unlucky.
Look, he's pushing him down the road sideways, desperately trying to get away.
Get out of my
Another
way.
angle again. Super slow-mo this one. So watch off the start. Watch for Ekstrom. So Timmy's already moved on backward once. Ekstrom comes across, look.
Just like a pinball machine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
back and forth, but it's nothing deliberate.
Look. It is definitely a three-way contact, but with looking at it from so many angles, to me, the contact is very small. I almost wonder if Timmy was looking to the inside and so wasn't ready for it to come from the outside, you know?
Timmy Hansen will feel aggrieved, Andreas Backerud will feel aggrieved.
Yeah.
But there's nobody to blame there, you know, as a driver, until you get out and see what's going on there. I just think it was...
final start incident under investigation.
Yeah,
so
it might well be, but
it.
from a driver's point of view, I think that is absolute rally crossing, and they should just draw a line and get on with it, but I'm not the steward.
Well, let's see what the stewards have to say about it, shall we? But it's not going to affect who took the win. Well, we're hearing from the stewards then that the start incident in the final is under investigation, but that's not going to affect who takes the win. Johan Kristoffersen has been on absolutely incredible form this weekend. He's with Neil Cole now, and we can hear from him on the second ever clean sweep.
Johan, that all looked very, very supremely in control for you to bring home this clean sweep, but it's historic. It's your first and only the second ever clean sweep. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was an amazing weekend. I felt very comfortable coming into the weekend, to be honest, and the car is really underneath me, and I can do exactly what I want with the car, and I can position it in the right place every corner, every lap, in every condition, and that's what it takes to be really quick in rallycross. Now also it was a little bit different conditions in semi-final and final when they water and maintains the track, so it's a big challenge, but it was a good one for me.
And now, obviously, as there's a rivalry between Sweden and Norway, is it particularly sweet to beat the Norwegians at home?
I mean, if I could win in France or in Canada or whatever, I will take it. For sure, it's always special to win in home ground, and that's Sweden for me. And I'm living close to Norway, and yeah, as you say, there's always a little bit. But anyway, the most important is the 30 points, and yeah, we keep going from here.
It was nice to see, though, that Matthias was one of the first people to congratulate you. And a word about his performance, because Q4 he didn't even get off the start line, and here he is in second.
That's the worst scenario when you're on pre-grid and the car just there's some technical favor. And then I was watching Matthias, so that's the worst scenario you can have. But you need to be very professional to reset your mind and to be able to. He did an amazing launch in semi-final, and from there on he was really pushing hard in the final. And I had to take a little bit care in T4 because it was quite big ruts, but I was actually monitoring the gap quite good.
Well done. Enjoy the podium.
Thank you.
Well, Johan Kristoffersen said that the 30 points were the most important thing. And here are the standings after round 5. 135 points. Johan Kristoffersen is 31 points clear. That is an entire race weekend, and we are on round 5. Sebastian Loeb on 104 points. Solberg moves up to 102. Andreas Backer on 101. Ekstrom and Ekstrom and Backer have actually dropped down. Timmy Hansen on 94. Look, there's 10 points between Hansen in 6th and Loeb in 2nd. And Johan Kristoffersen, the world champion, is 31 clear. Neil Cole is with second place man Matthias Ekstrom. Maybe we'll find out what happened at the start.
So Matthias, considering what the qualifying was like this morning, congratulations on your second place in hell. Talk us through that final.
Yeah, I think it was the whole Sunday was for me very different. So after Q3 I got the penalty, then in Q4 we had a technical issue, so wasn't hoping for much from lane 5 in the semi, but I had a very good takeoff and managed to go in P2, followed Timmy all the way. And again, a really good start in the final, managed to lead a joker race, and I saw Johan and Petter and I was pushing everything I could. I had a couple of mistakes because I was 100% and managed to beat Petter at least. Johan have been the dominant, so big congrats to him, but I'm happy with the podium after such a day.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
I think Matthias Ekström very relieved with that result. Okay, equal points. Look, in the team standings between Team Peugeot Total and EKS Audi Sport on countback, that's gone to Peugeot, so they move up to second place. But that is incredibly close. And Volkswagen Sweden PSRX run team, of course, are not out of reach just yet. Well, talking to PSRX, Neil Coles managed to get hold of Petter Solberg on the podium in Norway. Great result.
So, Petter, the Norwegian flags are flying. The crowd's very happy to see you on the podium. But it wasn't straightforward. I mean, it almost all went away in turn one.
Well, hey, honestly, first of all, I worked very hard the whole weekend to actually reach. It looked very good, and then I had a bad hit, and I used all the good tires all the time to secure that they're coming into semi in a good position. And then I had a little bit too worn tires. But anyway, in the final, you know, I had a good start, died out a little bit, and I was follow my plan, go into the normal lap straight away, but in front of me it was completely chaos. I don't know what happened, but they just went. So when I came into the corner, I thought I should, you know, hit them because they were everywhere. So, but still, I had a good run in the final. I took a calm, clean. I couldn't do so much more with what I had, and so I'm really happy to have a podium in Norway. It's fantastic, and I needed it in Norway. I needed it.
Well done, congratulations.
He really is genuinely pleased, isn't he, to be up on the podium at home, Guy. Interesting what you said. What was he said? They were everywhere.
Yeah, and I said it was like a pinball machine, and I don't know how quite he made it through the melee, to be honest, because there wasn't much of a gap. And obviously, when you come off the start line so hot-headed and you're in the back row and you want to make up as many places as you can, as quick as you can, it's so easy to make a mistake when there's so many issues that you're facing ahead of you. You know, cars littered all over the track.
Big trophy goes to Johan Kristoffersson. Again, he said, you know, need a bigger cabinet, I think. So that is 13 wins to Johan Kristoffersson on the all-time list. Solberg and Ekström are on 10 wins each next. Bear in mind, Kristoffersson only had about 3, literally, you know, the start of the previous season. So he's knocked in something in the region of 10 in the last year. I mean,
He's
it's
doing
crazy.
a great job of racking them up at the moment, isn't he? And I think you're damn right. They're going to have to build a bigger cabinet in PSRX.
Yeah, lovely reaction from the crowd too, and a big smile from Petter. We all know he wants to be on the top step, but he'd be made up with that, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a really good weekend, and there's another trophy to stick in the PSRX. No, another one. That takes up a little bit more space.
So it's Luke Woodham. It is the Monster Energy Drift driver handing over the Supercharger award to Petter. His reaction time is all pleased because he's old.
Yeah, no, that's what he still marks himself on.
Exactly.
He likes to keep himself honest and likes to keep everybody on their toes, and he loves taking that reaction time.
2 trophies for Petter, 1 for Matthias, but the most important one is for Johan Kristoffersson with his 4th win in 5 events this year. Don't forget he won the last event last year as well. Johan's just waiting a second, and now the champagne for the winner. He's pretty unstoppable. The thing is, he's not. The other teams have got what they need to try to beat him, but he's so good. He's got that extra capacity that we talk about so many times to pull a result out of a hat like he did in Silverstone, but then a job like this guy, completely different. Brilliant job, Johan Kristoffersson. What a weekend then in Norway. We've seen some people learning the circuits. We've seen some pretty basic mistakes. We've seen an XF1 driver and Le Mans winner come to have a crack at Rallycross, and I hope we might see Alex Bertz again. We saw a disaster for Ekström during the qualifying stages, and yet somehow he's managed to drag a podium outfit. Guy Wilkes, good weekend, but a brilliant performance by Johan.
Yeah, absolutely superlative, imperious performance. You know, he is back to his winning ways. Had a little chat with him at the start of the weekend, and he told me that he'd made a small change with the car, and he was so comfortable and so confident.
Yeah, no one could stop him, could they? This was the first of the semi-finals with the 2 VWs on the line. This time they managed to avoid each other. Very sensible stuff from them, taking split strategies, making sure that both of them would make it through to the final. Kristoffersson at this point knew he was just 1 checkered flag away from the ultimate weekend result. He's had plenty of maximum scores before, but he's never been quite so dominant as he has here. Semi-final 2, you're riding on board with Baumanis at that point, but this was about Timmy Hansen. Was it team tactics to get Kevin through or not? It doesn't matter. He did a fantastic job in the Peugeot, and that meant that he went through. There's the merge with Ekstrom in P2 and his brother going through in P3. Wonderful, wonderful drive by those two young guys in the front row. Come though, the final, there was a bit of a melee on the way down to turn 1, and this was the result. Look, 3-car contact. Unfortunately, Timmy Hansen and Backerud pretty much out of the race in turn 1, and that took the fuse out of the fight. Kristoffersson out front was edging it lap by lap. His teammate Solberg couldn't quite do it. In the background, Ekstrom had managed to get himself up into P2. We're going to Sweden next, which is Kristoffersson's home event and Ekstrom's too. But the fight is going to go on for the whole of the rest of the season. It's another win for Johan Kristoffersson. 3 weeks' time, we head to his home country. Can he do it again? Join us then to find out.